What's going on, Cougar fans, and welcome to this week's edition of CUC Football Weekly. I'm Parker Kelly with the Cougar Sports Network, and I'm once again joined by head football coach Andy Lambert. Coach, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Good morning.
It's homecoming week, a great week to be on campus. So the Cougars traveled to Benedictine University last Saturday. Unfortunately, the Cougars did drop this game. However, Troy Prattley did his thing again. Seems like we're talking about him a lot. He had 2 passing touchdowns, Jerron Brown and Jace Levi on the receiving end of both of those. 2 guys that were not on the team last year. So how have these newcomers really contributed to not just the offense, but the team in general?
Yeah, so talk a little bit about some of those guys on defense. You know, Damari at corner, we're playing kind of a transfer. He's younger at safety, Marvin. Almost our whole D-line rotation are freshmen. And so the same on offense, right? So Henry at one of the slots. We've got Jace who plays the other slot, our new Jerron at our tailback position. So those guys have just been kind of a wild addition. We've got to, I think, get better at getting them the ball and trying to find creative ways to sort of, get some touches. I mean, really with Jace, it seems like every time he touches it, he's got a chance at an explosive. 3 of our, longest yardage plays from scrimmage are to Jace. 3 of our top whatever, So anyway, but yeah, that's a good observation that these new guys, and we're young, and we just have got to figure out some ways to play better on both sides of the ball. But the new guys are going to be a big part of that, down the road here.
Absolutely. And I did want to talk about the defense a little bit. So Concordia, Wisconsin, team we're playing tomorrow on homecoming, they average about 34 points a game on offense, which is second in the NAC. So what is the game plan defensively to stop that highly potent Falcons offense?
Yeah. Well, we better hunker down. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like our defense, we didn't have a stop against Benedictine, right? They didn't punt one time. And so, we've got to get a lot better. The young guys who are playing, particularly up front, they need to jump from freshmen to grizzled veterans. Like, they got, 24 hours from right now, or so to speak. So, I think just being assignment proof, we've tried to simplify our system on defense, and we've got to just ratchet things up and tackle better. We missed a ton of tackles, so I think we'll see a better performance out of those guys this week, and we just got to play fast, and we've got to tackle better. That's a big part of the defensive structure right now. Yeah, and it's homecoming week. It has to mean a lot to those guys. You've been in the coaching game for a while, so what does homecoming week personally mean to you? It's kind of like, we ask about the rivalry. Homecoming, we try to just treat it like another week, right? You just are trying to, stay out of whatever the activities. I mean, you go to the activities and whatnot, but you can't let the emotion of what's going on, on campus sort of distract you from, playing your best. And the school does a fantastic job, and our sports media department does such a great job with just promoting it and getting energy on campus. We had a fantastic pep rally on Monday, which I thought went really well. And so we want to embrace all that, sure, but on Saturday, the game, we have to play the game as if it, is for the Super Bowl, and we want to have that kind of intensity and intentionality, every time we play on Saturday.
Coach, really looking forward to tomorrow. Best of luck, and thank you for coming on today.
Okay, thanks a lot, yeah.
Make sure to check out the Cougars as they kick off tomorrow against Concordia University, Wisconsin. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m., and coverage can be found at our athletics website at cucougars.com/coverage. I'm Parker Kelly signing off, and we'll see you next week on CUC Football Weekly. Go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
What's going on, Cougar fans? Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined as always by Parker Kelly, and it's homecoming here on the campus of Concordia University of Chicago. And to celebrate, we got the Battle of Concordias coming up for you as your CUC Cougars taking on their rival Falcons of Concordia University, Wisconsin. And Parker, homecoming, always an ecstatic time here at CUC. Plenty of alumni walking around, staff members here to celebrate the game day. We had the homecoming dance last night, and now we get to celebrate with a little football here on Saturday afternoon. But before we get to the game, let's kind of talk about what these two teams have been doing. And let's start with the Cougars, Parker. They were at Benedictine last week and unfortunately dropped that one 48-14. It was tied 7-7 for a minute, but Benny able to pull away with the high-powered offense. But there were a couple of bright spots for the Cougars that game.
Absolutely. The Cougars got rolling on offense early, in big part to Troy Prattley, who had the 2 passing touchdowns. And on the receiving end, Jerron Brown with his first touchdown of his career, the freshman coming in doing a lot of great stuff for the Cougars, and Jace Levi, who also had another receiving touchdown. He's been big with the ball in his hands, absolutely electric, and these newcomers have been great for the Cougars.
Right, and I know you want to talk about a little bit about Joron and Jace Levi a little bit as well. These two have been some of the best players on the Cougars offense this year, and the Cougars are going to need a big game out of them today because CUW's got the best defense in the conference, points per game allowed wise. So what are you expecting to see out of Brown and Levi today, Parker?
They're going to be contributing in a big way today. Jerron Brown getting the start. He's been a very downhill, physical runner. He's provided a spark for this Cougars team as far as the running game is concerned, and that's always a point of emphasis in this offense. Levi coming in to transfer. Coach Lambert talked about it yesterday. He is electric with the ball in his hands, very dynamic. He has 3 plays that have been huge for the Cougars this year, and he looks to continue that effort today.
All right, well, let's talk about the Falcons a little bit. And Parker, we are talking about the Falcons, and I believe each of us have these little plush Falcons here to celebrate CUW coming to River Forest today. So we're going to play with their mascot a little bit while we talk about them. CUW last week played WLC, Wisconsin Lutheran College, and there was total domination from CUW. 41-0 win for the Falcons. They have the second best offense in the NAC. They have the best defense in the NAC, as I previously stated, and they proved that last week against WLC.
Anytime you're able to get a shutout against a conference opponent, it's a very impressive feat. This is a team who, like you mentioned, first in points allowed, only allowing 17 points per game. That's going to win you a lot of games. They're also first in rush yards allowed with a little over 60, third in defensive efficiency. This is a phenomenal team on both sides of the ball, and it's a very formidable opponent for the Cougars today.
Right, and if we have to highlight one Falcon to really look out for today, that would be the wide receiver, Nick Kroll. He's been a stud all season for CUW. I know he's someone you got your eye on, Parker.
Absolutely. This is a Cougars defensive team that has had their fair share of struggles this year, but one bright spot in the Cougars defensively is that secondary. They're ranked first in the NAC as far as the secondary is concerned. Nick Kroll, the leading receiver on the Falcons, leads in yards, touchdowns, and receptions. I'm really interested to see that matchup between him and DeMar Grant this afternoon.
Right. All right, so we know the teams. We got the Cougars for CUC, and we got the Falcons for CUW. So let's just toss this aside for now, and let's talk about keys to the game right now, Parker. What do the Cougars need to do today to pull off a win, homecoming in front of a huge crowd filled with plenty of alumni coming to CUC today? What's going to be the key to victory for CUC?
It all starts at the line of scrimmage. This is a CUW offensive line who averages 300 pounds per offensive lineman. The Cougars are going to have their hands full, and it all starts with that defensive front 7. They're going to have to get pressure on the quarterback today, and that's going to be a pivotal factor.
Right, and I want to focus on the line of scrimmage as well, but this time I want to talk about CUC's offensive line a little bit. It is a younger offensive line, a couple of veterans, but a lot of freshmen as well, kind of rotating in and out for CUC, and this is a rushing team, Parker. They have been for the last couple seasons under Andy Lambert. They need to get that rushing game going, whether it's Jerron Brown, who we talked about, William Henson, the other running back who's been having a solid season, or Jacob Redmond, who's getting the start at quarterback today for CUC. Those three can get the running game going. CUC's going to have a very nice day on homecoming and make a lot of alumni go home happy that they have to see their Cougars walk away with a victory today. But CUC taking on CUW here in River Forest. We're going to have that game coming up for you at 1 p.m. Parker and I will be on the call with you on the Cougar Sports Network. But before we head down to the field for starting lineups and national anthem, we got a quick message from President of CUC, Russell Dawn.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
Said, and the referee's going to out the field for the point toss at University of Chicago for the alumni, the homecoming game between New York Cougars and the Falcons of the University of Wisconsin. We already talked about it a little bit in the pregame, but the festivities are a fun time here at any college. Alumni out all over the place. Football team is very awesome right now.
Absolutely, and homecoming just, one of the best times to be on campus, especially at a college like CUC. Bunch of festivities going on this week. I was talking to Coach Lambert yesterday in our Coach's Weekly interview about what homecoming means to him personally. He said it's always an exciting time, but it's another game, and the Cougars need to be focused today and not get carried away in the festivities. Just focus on CUW and what they can do as a team.
Two teams set of captains and leaders meet at midfield for the coin toss. As look at these two teams of records coming into today. CUC sitting at 0-3, 0-1 in conference play. Parker, they're still looking for their first win of the year in general and get a big conference win here as well. Meanwhile, CUW coming into today 3-1, 2-0 in conference play. They are 1-1 on the road. Season of CUW, second in wins at CUW, 2013 champions. There's also Coach of the Year of CUW conference. Meanwhile, it's the Cougars head coach Andy Lambert, third season at the helm, 6-17, 3-14 in those 3 years. We're hoping to see some results from his team here today as they're playing on their biggest rivals in the conference in the major. Out of their positions on the field. CUC will be kicking it off first. Ryan Howard will be for the Cougars, the junior. CUC out of North Ohio. Cougars underway. CUW will be the first to kick off today as they try to start their high-powered offense second in the conference. Second place was a good whoever's able to hold it. Crowd just hyped. The Cougars taken out as we're about ready to get underway. Ryan Howard staring at the football. He's about to kick off. CUC line to defend the kickoff return from CUW. It's set, walking up to the ball, and we are off here in CUC. But a line 5 kick, and it is going to go out of bounds. So there will be a flag on the play. Ryan Howard's kickoff leaving the field of play at CUW's own 7-yard line. CUW gets out on the penalty on the first drive.
And great job of Howard really kicking it away from the dangerous Concordia, Wisconsin returners. Did an excellent job. You do not want to put yourself in a position where they get a good kickoff to start the game. So excellent job by the veteran Howard. Very heads-up play.
CUW brings out their offense first under center starting today for the Falcons. Michael Corky, a senior out of Woodstock, Illinois. 4 games played on the year, 5 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. As the first play of the game will be a handoff to the running back. He'll get 4 yards or so on the play. Brings up second down.
This is a Concordia, Wisconsin team who has a fantastic offensive line, so do not be surprised if we see the Falcons running the ball a lot today, considering how deep that offensive line is.
And the first pass is picked off by CUC, taking it all the way back to the house. Touchdown, Cougars! Number 46, on the kickoff. Gavin Days playing safety, and he gets CUC started off hot here in River Forest.
That was an excellent job of Days. We see Perky was really staring down the flats. An easy read for Days to make, who is an athlete himself, playing that outside linebacker position. Nice job of catching the ball and just taking off. Great start for the Cougars defensively.
You saw the replay on your screen, and now Ryan Howard, the point after it is up and through the upright. Victoria Chicago takes a 7-0 lead in just over 30 seconds into the game. Parker, you said it. You can't really think of a better spot for this CUC. This is a defense who has been struggling overall.
Right, and the focus pregame was on CUC secondary. We didn't really talk about that front seven, but nice job by Days, just playing in the flats, staring down Michael Perky where he was looking, and then puts the ball in his hands and presses his hands.
Another kickoff for Concordia. 33 seconds. Two kickoffs and a the second kick of the day for Auer, is going to bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So CUC, they're going to set up their defense at the 25-yard line as Michael Perky's going to get a second chance here and try to redeem himself after his first pass was picked off for a pick six.
And not a great start for the senior Perky, throwing a pick six to start the game. Interceptions like that really do a lot to a quarterback's confidence. It'll be interesting to see how he responds right here, his team down 7.
And Parker, this is a CUC offense. They're trying to figure things out so far this year, averaging 21 points a game. That is second worst in the conference, only to WLC. But that's a big way to get your team started off on the right foot, is the defense saying, don't worry, guys, we got you. We're just going to score this one ourselves. As Perky keeps the ball there, it's a decent chunk of yardage out of it. They're going to say there's a 4-yard gain as there is a Cougar down on the field. He gets picked right up. That was number 46, Gavin Days, who just returned the pick six for the opening score.
We see right there another rush attempt from Perky, and don't be surprised to see this Falcons team run the ball a lot more, considering how the first drive ended for the Falcons. And we mentioned that offensive line is going to create some big gaps for the runners to get through.
Second down at 6. It'll be another handoff for the Falcons, and breaking a couple tackles is the running back, and he finally gets brought down well in CUC territory. Pierre Summers III, junior out of Columbus, Georgia, gets a first down and then some. This is Summers' third game on the year. He's at 136 yards coming in today on a pair of touchdowns, but a good outing against WLC last week. 16 carries, 89 yards, and a TD, as well as a 42-yard reception, a 2021 second-team All-NAC member, as Asher Thomas gets a carry here. He'll bust out 6 yards on it.
Something to look out for. We see that the Falcons are kind of going no huddle, high tempo. That is designed to wear a defense down, especially when you're running the ball. That front seven may get exhausted pretty early. It's something to keep an eye on.
Thomas in the backfield with Perky. He's going to get the ball again, and he breaks through for a first down right up the middle. Asher Thomas, a senior out of Punta Gorda, Florida.
We see Asher Thomas, not really a taller back, but he's a thick and he has a lot of power in his lower body, really downfield runner. So the Cougars are really going to have to emphasize on stopping him and not letting him to get going.
Well, they're going to try to keep him going as he's going to get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Might have even been a slight loss on that play. Asher Thomas, like Parker said, only stands at 5'7", but weighs 185, so a very compact football player as he's going to check out of the game. Pierre Summers, the third back in for CUW. 3 receivers to Perky's left. He's got a lone receiver on his right in Mason Kuhnippel. As we'll see if they go passing play here. They do. Perky, just a little short dump to Summers. Summers. And he breaks a couple of tackles. He stays on his feet, falls right at the first down marker. See if the refs give it to him or not. And they're going to say he's just about a yard short. So 3rd and 1 roughly for the Falcons. Summers back in the backfield as pair of receivers now lined up to Perky's right. No one on the left. As the snap here, Summers rushes up the gut. Looks like he's going to get just enough for the first down.
Falcons have done a nice job of really divvying up the play calling. We've seen a couple rushes straight up the middle, and then they're able to get their running backs on the outside, get them to the perimeter. So the defense has to be prepared for the creativity in the play calling.
First down and 10 for CUW in Cougars red zone. As Perky hands off to Thomas. Thomas finds some hole, breaks a couple tackles, and then he's brought down around the neck by number 26 on CUC, Marvin Rushing, junior safety out of Detroit, Michigan. As CUW, Parker, having little difficulties just rushing this one down the field. I don't think we've seen any passing play downfield. We saw that short little dump to Summers, but that was it. They're perfectly content just pounding the rock here as they do again. Asher Thomas gets brought down that time by Cougar.
Looks like the Falcons really have that two-headed monster at running back in Summers and Thomas. And we see what the game plan is. It's really obvious. They're going to run the ball downhill, going to get the backs out on the perimeter, and that's the game plan right now. And the Cougars knew this going into the game. So got to be able to tackle, wrap up, not allow Summers and Asher to break as many tackles as they're doing right now.
And they give the ball to Summers that now rolls off a couple tacklers, falls for no gain. Maybe a couple inches, if anything, as it is now second down for CUW, 2nd and goal. But, Parker, this is a Cougars defense who has struggled mightily with the rush. I mean, we talked about it. They have the worst points allowed per game mark in the conference, but they have the best secondary. They have the worst rush defense, however. They're giving up 261 rushing yards per game. That is the game plan right here as Summers takes it. He's going to try and get around the edge, and he breaks a couple of tackles and is finally brought down by 26 rushing. These are some tough running backs for CUW, Parker. They are breaking tackles. They're rolling off of guys. These are not easy players, Summers and Thomas, to tackle and bring down.
Really nice job by a pack of Cougars really getting outside on the perimeter and tackling Summers and just really flocking to the football, and that's what you want to see from CUC's defensive coordinator, Bo Flowers.
Bo Flowers, his first season as a Cougar coach. As he's trying to get this defense in gear. They've struggled as Perky, he's going to roll out. He's going to look downfield, throws it, and it is caught. But there is a flag. Believe it'll be on CUC, which means CUW scores the touchdown, and we are now have a 7-6 score in our hand, tied game, assuming the point after is good.
Really nice job of Perky rolling out to the outside, extending the play a little bit, and after throwing that interception in the first drive, really bouncing back and getting that nice touchdown pass. Usually as a quarterback, you're not taught to throw back inside, but sometimes that is acceptable, and nice job of Perky extending the play and getting the ball in there.
So CUW, they set up, and they're They looked like they were going to go for two. Instead, they bring everyone back to the middle now for the kick, maybe trying to draw the Cougars' defense off somehow. And so going for the kick will be Nick Klein. His holder is Roman Funk, number 13. He's the second quarterback listed on the two deep as the kick is up and no good. Nick Klein cannot nail the point after kick. And because of it, CUC is going to hold on to a 1-point lead here, 7-6 on the year. Nick Klein, 17 for 18 on extra points coming into today. He's now going to be 17 for 19.
Yeah, and a really lucky break for the Cougars right there. After a great long drive by Concordia, Wisconsin, really getting that break right there with the mixed extra point, and the Cougars still have the lead. This is a great opportunity to go out on offense, make something happen, and really extend that lead.
So the two teams will set up for the kickoff. CUC to receive, and we see a couple of yellow jerseys. Should mention Cougars wearing their gold jerseys, white lettering with maroon bottoms, the white helmets. CUW, they're all white away unis with the blue lettering. As for the return, Henry Jones as well as William Henson in the back field for CUC. One of them presumably will be getting the kickoff, and see what they can do on the return. Hopefully set their offense up a little better. As here comes the kick from Klein. It's going to land in the hands of Henson out of the end zone as there's a whistle on the play.
Looks like a fair catch from Henson.
So Henson waves the hands for a fair catch, which means CUC, they're going to be starting deep in their own defensive territory, They'll be on the 25. But Parker, I think now is as good a time to talk about the quarterback for CUC, Jacob Redmond, getting his first career start under center, the sophomore. We've seen him in bits and pieces so far this year, but he's getting the start today in a very big game. As first play of the game, he's going to pitch it to Jace Levi, who will pick up a yard.
And we see Redmond, the Cougars really just needed a spark at quarterback. Redmond provides that, very dynamic with his legs. And then right there, the pitch to Levi. Levi is a wide receiver, but can also be utilized in the backfield. He's just a very dynamic player. The transfer coming in, and the Cougars are very happy to have him.
Levi and Devin Bledsoe, as well as Henry Jones, will set up to the right of Redmond, as well as Joran Brown. And Redmond, he's going to keep this one. He's going to try and get around the corner. He cannot, at least not for a big enough gain, and it'll be 3rd and long coming up for CUC now.
And that play design really looked like it was supposed to go inside on the left. Redmond wasn't able to find that gap, tried to bounce it to the outside, nothing really there, but nice job of Redmond just picking up all the yards that he can.
3rd and 7 for the Cougars as the offense gets the play calling from the sideline. 8:14 left to go here in the first quarter. Cougars up 7-6 on the Falcons as Cougars line up. Redmond hands it off to Joran Brown, who bounces off a couple Falcons and over the first down marker for the first down. And Parker, we saw Joran Brown kind of have a breakout game last week against Benedictine, one of the bright spots in that loss for CUC. 10 carries for 62 yards, 3 receptions for 35, and a touchdown. And you think the Cougars are really going to look to build around Brown as he gets another handoff but gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and Brown getting his second start of the season. Very downhill, physical runner. The Cougars really like what he brings to the table. We see he's going to probably get a bulk of carries here today, and the Cougars coming out 4 straight rushes. They're not hiding their game plan either.
No pass attempts yet for Redmond. Sophomore again getting his first start under center in the maroon and gold. He's got 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, and he's going to find a receiver in the middle of the field, and he's still on his feet, finally brought down. is number 19, Henry Jones. And a big completion there for the Cougars. A quick bullet pass from Redmond. He finds Jones, who's able to do his thing, yards after catch, pick up some additional yardage, and bring the Cougars into CUW's end of the field.
And what we saw right there, just a simple RPO. Redmond reading the inside linebacker. He crashed. That allowed the pass to be able to go to Jones.
Now he's going to hand it off to Brown. Brown pushing his way through the defensive line. He'll be about 2 yards short of a first down. So third down, second and short for CUC now.
What we see right here, just feeding the hot hand, right? Jerron Brown, you mentioned the breakout game last week at Benedictine University. He's going to get some more carries today because Coach Lambert really likes what he sees out of him, as well as offensive coordinator Chase Hankins. Just continue to feed him if he has the hot hand.
Brown in the backfield once again, and he'll get the handoff from Redmond. He'll get the first down and a little more as he's pushed forward by CUW's tacklers. Joron Brown making his name known here at home.
And we see right here, Redmond reading that end. He's going to give the ball to Joron Brown, but eventually that end is going to go with Brown, which is going to open up the lane for Redmond to get to the outside. Something to keep an eye on that could happen potentially, maybe even later in this drive.
First and 10 in the red zone for the Cougars. As there is a new back in the field, it is Henson, number 8 for CUC. See if he gets some action here after it's been the Joron Brown show. He does. He's using his speed, and Blake Henson into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars! Blake Henson entering the game after Joron Brown got the majority of snaps, and he makes the most of it on his carry and brings it home for a touchdown.
Talk about making the most of your first carry. Henson, the second carry. Henson, the starter at the beginning of the season. Then Jerron really coming out on the scene. Nice vision by Henson, getting it to the outside, just finding the open lane and taking it to the house.
Point after kick is up and good from Ryan Auer, and Cougars up 14-6 here in the first quarter. 5:30 left to go. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, CUW will receive the kickoff as they try to even up this game.
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the field. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button. This helps us continue to have the best live stream possible for some of the great Cougar football moments. Thank you and enjoy the game.
Back here in River Forest, Cougars in control in the first quarter, up 14-6, and Parker, CUW, their defense coming into today, giving up 17 points a game. Cougars are already at 14. We still have 5:30 left to go in the first quarter. I mean, what a start we've got from CUC today. Now, granted, half those 14 points did come from a pick six, but still, the fact that the Cougars are putting this many points up on the board early, however they do it, that's a good sign for CUC.
No, that's really impressive, right? This is the best defensive team in the NAC, and you mentioned in the pregame the Cougars 8th in points scored at about 21 points per game. They've scored 14 points in the first half against this defense. That's very impressive for the fans that are watching.
And really, that was the recipe to success in the past couple of years for CUC when they were able to pull out wins, was the defense was going to contribute offensively. They were going to get some pick sixes. They were going to get some scoop and scores, whatever it may be. And that really hasn't been the case so far this year. But now half the points for CUC coming from the defense. You like to see that from Bo Flowers and his defensive unit.
Love to see that. This is a very defensive-oriented team. And to start the game out that way, it's phenomenal.
So Roman Funk takes the snap for CUW, and he finds a receiver who's still dancing around on his feet, Kekoa Carmichael. Able to move the chains. Some nice yard after catch action. The sophomore out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And CUW making a switch here at quarterback. Michael Perkey out, Roman Funk in. Funk, a freshman out of Scottsdale, Arizona. has 278 yards on the season. As here's a handoff to Thomas. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions as well for Funk, while Thomas makes it 2nd down and 4.
I'm interested to see how this dynamic goes with now Roman Funk entering the game for Michael Perkey. Typically, 2 quarterback systems are hard to run. It doesn't allow one quarterback to particularly get in a rhythm. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as the game progresses.
Funk under center. He's got Thomas to his left. Man in motion with number 6 for CUW as Thomas finds some room for the first down. Asher Thomas having himself a field day before that rush. Already 28 yards on the day, averaging just under 5 yards a carry. And he's going to add on to that after that last carry. I'll have that exact total for you in just a second once our stats update here. But 14-6 CUC in the first quarter, but Parker, CUW able to score a touchdown on their first drive. Didn't make the extra point, but they're showing no signs of slowing down offensively as Funk rolls out, and he's going to find a short reception to number 6 as TJ Harold, the junior tight end.
Yeah, the CUW really likes to get their tight ends involved in the game, as you see right there, getting it to the junior and Harold. But going back to these running backs, they're doing a great job of utilizing their vision and finding those open gaps. And I really like the game plan offensively right now for the Falcons.
Funk with Pierre Summers III in the backfield now. In motion is Harold. Funk's going to hand it off to Summers. Summers changes direction, misses a tackle, and Summers, he's off to the races, pushed out of bounds right past the CUC 20, as that'll bring CUW right to the edge of the red zone. Looks like just a couple inches shy of the 20-yard line, so CUW knocking on the door of the red zone, 1st and 10.
Yeah, they're right there, and a good drive so far, utilizing both of those running backs like we've seen so far in this quarter, and now they're knocking on the door in the red zone.
Summers, he gets another carry, tries to turn the corner, and a big tackle there. Jumping on him were the Cougar defenders. They bring him down, and Parker, I mean, you just think about how much effort these Cougar defenders are needing to exert and able to bring down Summers and Thomas. These are 2, I mean, they're great athletes, but they're just tough guys, too. I mean, they're bouncing off tacklers. They're rolling off of them. These are not easy guys to tackle, as we previously stated.
Yeah, and I want to throw it to the defense. CUC's defense is very young in that front 7 and secondary. They're showing right now they're not afraid to get their noses in there and their hands dirty. Nice job of wrapping up right there and just flocking to the football.
2nd down and 10. Funk throws it into the end zone. Batted down. Great defensive play there from number 26 on CUC. As it was Marvin rushing on the breakup. A touchdown-saving breakup. I mean, that was just perfect execution, Parker. Able to reach his hand around, swat the ball down at the last second, preventing CUW from scoring.
And rushing is a player that Coach Lambert has been very high on, coming in as a freshman and doing a lot of work in that secondary. A really nice play, saving that touchdown and putting his team in a position to potentially get a stop.
3rd down and 10. Funk, he looks downfield into the end zone, and it's dropped. And Nick Kroll, we talked about him in the pregame show. He got a hand on it, but good coverage there from CUC secondary. That's going to bring up 4th down and 10 as it looks like the field goal unit will trot out as Nick Klein, he missed his only kick on the day. It was a point after. Now he's going to come in for a 27-yard field goal. At least 27 yards from the end zone, so about a 37-yarder total. As the kick is a low one, and it is still good. Just barely makes it over the crossbar. Nick Klein, not the prettiest kick you'll see, but it gets the job done. Brings Concordia, Wisconsin within 5. Cougars still up 14-9 now, though. 2:05 left to go in the first quarter. We'll be back in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning in to today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC football, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUCFB Family. We'll see you soon on campus.
Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, the two squads make their way out for the kickoff by Nick Klein and CUW. And Parker, I want to ask you, though, it was 4th down and 10 in the Cougars' red zone, right at the 20, maybe a little short of it. But either way, the CUW coach, Greg Etter, they decided to go for the field goal, take the 3 points. Is that the right decision there? Or, you're down by 8 at that point. Do you maybe try to push it? And if you don't get it, you're still deep in CUC's territory.
Yeah, I mean, you never go broke taking a profit. And that was an excellent call, I thought, by Etter, just really taking the 3 points. You have points on the table. Nice job of the Falcons of taking it. Obviously, you want a touchdown right there after a a drive that created a lot of momentum, but they will take the 3 points, absolutely.
So it's a short kickoff. Devin Bledsoe grabs it at about the 30 and then takes it to about the 39-yard line. A short punt off the boot of Nick Klein, who just kicked that official 30-yard field goal it was measured at. So CUC solid fielding position as they're going to be starting the drive from their own 37. 1st and 10 as Parker, it's going to be exciting to see what the CUC offense can do. It was a good first drive, consistently moved down the field, a couple big plays, and I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see what they do here on the second drive.
I'm excited too. The touchdown on the opening drive, see where it goes.
As Blake Henson, with some speed, stays on his feet after he shrugs off a tackle, finally brought down in a dog pile. He will gain 5 yards out of it. 2nd down and 5 for the Cougars. Jacob Redmond still under center for CUC as he only had one pass in that first drive for CUC, and he completed it, a 20-yard snag by Henry Jones. Other than that, it's been a rushing-heavy game, 52 total rushing yards for CUC. After the first drive and 1 play. Henson gets it again, hides behind some blockers, able to scrap out a few yards. And so it'll be 3rd and short for the Cougars now.
And Peter, I'm sure you've heard the phrase small but mighty, and that perfectly describes William Henson. He is he's a smaller back, really good scat back, but he's also a tough player, not afraid to get his nose in there as well. We see that right there, taking the ball, really getting downfield and fighting for every yard that he can get.
Also a player that goes by many names as well. Blake, William, teammates call him Booba. That's his nickname. So a man of many names for CUC, getting some work here today on Saturday as getting some yardage on that carry is Joran Brown. They're going to say it's good enough for the 1st down. CUC keeps the chains moving on the 3rd down rush.
And this is a Cougars team who the backbone of its offense is running the football. And we see only 1 pass attempt so far by Redmond. And they're moving the chains with the utilization of Booba Henson and Joran Brown and even a couple carries from Redmond. But this is a really nice-looking drive so far, moving the chains and eating some time off the clock.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, the saying goes. And CUC's rushing attack has been anything but stifled as Redmond gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage. There is a flag on the play, however, as the referees converge to discuss it. About a yard gained by Redmond, as we'll have to see what the official call is from the head referee today. The referee's still talking it over. CUC, they look like they're bringing the line back, as now the players head to the sidelines. The head referee going to talk to Coach Greg Etter of CUW, as now he goes on the mic. So it is on the CUC offense. Kind of hard to hear the coach's mic from up here, so we're going to wait for the stats to give us what the official flag is. As the referee wanted to see if Eder wanted to decline it or maybe giving some clarification. Again, we'll get you exactly what went down on the field in just a second here.
It's interesting to see. It looked like that penalty might have been on the Cougars, and that's really interesting. The Cougars are actually the least penalized team in the NAC. Only 12 penalties, now 13 so far this season. But this is a disciplined team, does not get penalized a lot, so it was just interesting to see that flag thrown right there.
Now the teams do reverse the field. It is the end of the first quarter, kind of quietly almost. The first quarter ended with the flag, so we were more preoccupied about what the flag was about, but it is the end of the first. We're into the second quarter now as the two teams head back out. So the flag will be on CUC as you see them set up well beyond the first yard line, as here we have it now. CUC illegal shift on Jacob Redmond, so enforced 5 yards from the end of the play. And that's where we're at now. First down and 15 on the CUC 42. As Joran Brown receives the handoff, he gets stonewalled at the line. Little to no gain for Brown as CUC's got a third and second down and long coming up.
This is a tough CUW defensive front led by number 99 Chase Coots, Mark Quentin Sellers, and Gerard Ontiveros. Really good Falcons front seven, running that 3-4. Makes it really tough on the Cougars to kind of rely upon the run game throughout the quarter, but props to CUC for really taking advantage of the running game.
Redmond, he's going to throw, and it's brought in by Joran Brown. He's got a first down and some more. Joran Brown with some open space in front of him. He's still breaking tackles, brought down finally at the CUW 10. Joran Brown, what a play from the freshman.
And I knew it was only a matter of time. CUC is a team that really likes to use the screen game, and we see right there just getting Joran Brown out on the flats, getting it to him in space. Excellent perimeter blocking and letting him do the rest.
Joran Brown, a huge reception for the Cougars. It was second down and long for CUC, and now they are well in the CUW red zone. A 46-yard completion for Brown as CUC knocking on the doorstep of scoring another touchdown. Redmond now. He has to roll out to escape pressure. Redmond, he's still looking. He's just going to pocket it and take it himself. Redmond pushed out right before the 5-yard line.
And this is exactly what Redmond brings to the table, the ability to extend plays. He's so dynamic with his legs, just able to outrun the defenders. And even though he didn't pick up the first down, he was able to pick up a couple of yards, and it's better than losing yards. So really nice job by Redmond, just utilizing his strengths.
Second down and goal for the CUC, about 7 yards to go until the end zone, as Redmond with Henson in the backfield. He's going to hand it to Blake Henson. Henson takes it up the gut for a short gain, and that'll bring up third and goal for CUC. Joran Brown checks back in for the Cougs.
Now we see it's third and about 5 from the end zone. We see Joran Brown coming back into the game. Really interested to see what the play call might be right here.
Also checking in for CUC is Vincent Scarnetto, listed as a defensive back on the roster, but he's been converted to wide receiver as he sets up to the left of Redmond. He's got 3 receivers on his right. As Redmond, he's going to just take it up. He's going to pass, and it's caught and knocked out of the hands. A big hit there on Henry Jones. He had it, and then a knock from Brevin Palp-Alatok. And that knocks it out of his hand, so an incomplete pass. That'll bring up 4th and 5. And Parker, I think the Cougars, as we do have the replay really quick, we see a little loft to Jones, and it's immediately knocked out by Pal Balatok.
Really nice job by Palpatalk knocking that ball out, and then we see right there Redmond looked like he was going to take off with it. Then at the last second, right before he crosses the line of scrimmage, trying to get it to Jones, and despite the drop, that's one that he wishes he had back.
Yeah, good awareness by Redmond to throw it before crossing the line, as we have a timeout here now. So we're going to take a break here in the booth as well. CUC still on top of CUW 14-9. Back here at CUC, Cougars on top of the Falcons 14-9, and Parker, we're going to see the offense come back out into the field, 4th and goal. And we were talking about it during the timeout. This was something you agreed with, and I think we're going to talk about this after the play. However, we're going to see what the Cougars can do here before we break down the choice to go for it on 4th and goal here. Joran Brown lined up to the right of Redmond. He's also got 3 receivers, and he's going to look to those receivers. He lofts a pass caught by Devin Bledsoe. Touchdown, Cougars! Parker, I don't know if we got a lot to talk about, because the choice to go for it on 4th down pays out for CUC. And the Cougars now up 20-9, 21-9 if Ryan Auer can kick in this extra point.
Here's why I love the play call. First of all, I love the aggressive approach by offensive coordinator Chase Hankins, and then getting Devin Bledsoe out on the outside. He's a big body, and using him just to get a simple fade to him and let him do the rest, go up, high point the ball. Love the play call right there from the Cougars.
Point after is good from Auer and the Cougars. Parker, I don't know how many people expected this here in the first half. 21-9. CUW has given up more points than they usually do on average this year. They've only scored at 9, a touchdown, and then a field goal. And the CUC offense has gone 2 for 2 on their offensive drives, both resulting in touchdowns.
Right. It's just, it all started with the pick 6 thrown early in the first quarter by Michael Perkey that really put the Falcons behind the 8 ball. And then the ability of the Cougars offense to convert on every single drive so far in this game. It is a recipe for success. The Falcons just look startled right now.
And Parker, should be mentioned, CUC, they do have a way to show up on big game days. I mean, I think everyone remembers the senior day from last year when they shocked Benedictine and took them down for a huge senior day victory. And I mean, there is something to be said about, homecoming day, senior day, whatever it may be. It just kind of gives everyone a little oomph on the field as they want to support this huge crowd here at Concordia Stadium tonight. The stands just about packed from end to end.
And that just shows you how much of having a good, solid crowd such as this one really can influence the game, and especially that home field advantage. There's a lot of energy, a lot of buzz on campus right now. And the Cougars football team is just being fueled by that right now, and we see it in the first half.
You see the cheer team down on the track doing as many push-ups as points scored by the Cougars. And hopefully we'll get to see them do a couple more here today, as they just pumped out 21 for the 21 Cougar points up on the board as Ryan Auer gets set for the kickoff. Going to be just in the middle of, towards the far sideline, and brought down about the 33-yard line is the returner for CUW. It was number 12, Seth Adamik. As there is a Falcon down on the field. So we're going to get an injury timeout here while the CUW trainers attend to their downed player. And then when we come back, CUW sets up on offense as they trail CUC 21-9.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the football program, head to cucougars.com. We hope to see you soon in our next game.
Twenty-one to 9, your score here in River Forest. Cougars on top of the Falcons as CUW sets up their offense. And Parker, I know you were talking during the timeout, the injury timeout, just about the CUW offense and what we've seen from them today. What do you got for us? What's got to change on this drive, or not necessarily change, but what's the key to keeping their success going?
Well, here's the thing. CUW has not found themselves in this position really this season. Being down by 11 here in the first half, I really want to see how they respond, and it's going to come by you can get those field goals like we were talking about every now and again, but they really need to capitalize, get a touchdown on this drive to keep themselves in this thing.
2nd down and 2 for the Falcons, as it'll be Parkey in the backfield, under center again, as dipping and diving for a first down is Pierre Summers. There's a flag on the play, however, as the referees gather to talk it over.
Looks like this one's going to go against the Falcons.
And the Falcons will move back, holding on the offense. So CUW going to be backed up. They'll replay 2nd down here. Instead of 1st and 10, we'll get 2nd and 11 for the Falcons.
This offensive line just looking a little startled at this point in the game. That is not very typical to see too many holding calls on that offensive line. But here we are. They find themselves behind the sticks.
Parkey stays in the pocket and looks to the near sideline, and it is going to be ruled incomplete. He was looking for number 5, Colin Rastich, and not able to reel it in right in front of the CUC bench, which means it is now 3rd and long for the Falcons, as Parkey's going to have to look downfield once again. 2 for 4 now after that last incompletion for 16 yards, a touchdown and an interception as well, as Parkey, a long shot downfield right out of reach of Rastich. No flags on the play, and that's going to bring out the punt unit for the Falcons. Great defensive stand there from the Cougars.
That's exactly what you want to see. The Cougars have to keep their foot on the gas. Excellent 3 and out right there. We see the Falcons just trying to get a seam route up the middle to Rastich. Not able to. Excellent play in the secondary. And here we go. Looks like the Cougars are about to get the ball back.
Henry Jones sets up to return the punt. Meanwhile, punting for CUW is number 31, Luke Dragameller. It's a high punt, plenty of airtime as Jones lets it bounce. So CUC is going to set up on their own 27-yard line. As this offense, Parker, 2 for 2 in drives, both of them resulting in touchdowns. They are playing with some fire right now in front of this home crowd, and it's really been the rushing game, but the key there is that they've had occasional passes. It's not just rush all the way through. They know when to try to air it out a little bit. Redmond's been good in that department, 3 for 4 for 79 yards and a TD. So this is just good, varied play calling from the Cougars.
Right, and you do that to keep the defense on your toes. They're expecting a lot of rushing attempts from this Cougars team. You catch them off guard when you throw the ball every now and again.
Redmond keeps it himself for a rush. He'll pick up roughly 7 yards on the play. A little less than that. 2nd and 4, they're going to call it officially.
And we knew it was going to come eventually. Redmond kept handing the ball off to Brown and Henson. Eventually he was going to keep it himself and able to pick up a good chunk of yards right there on that first down.
He gives it to Brown, who gets brought down from behind. First Falcon on the tackle was number 97, Robert Taylor, senior out of Miami, Florida.
Also looked like Marquinton Sellers got in there as well. He was player of the week, defensive player in the week in the NAC after their Week 3 victory over Lakeland University in the Cheese Bowl. So nice job by him really getting his nose in there.
3rd down and 2 as someone jumped early. CUC clapping, which makes you believe it is on the Falcons' defense. The referees come together to confirm it.
Looked like Sellers might have got a little too antsy right there.
Encroachment on the defense, number 96, Sellers, just like you called it, Parker. And because of that, CUC awarded a 1st down due to penalties.
Really nice job of using, it looked like the Cougars used a fake cadence to draw Sellers off sides. Really nice play call right there, especially when it's 3rd and short, getting them to jump and you move the sticks and get another opportunity.
Another flag thrown as there's a handoff to Brown. Brought down after picking up just a yard or 2. So we'll have to see who this flag is on. The official looking towards Greg Eder on the CUW sideline, I believe. Illegal formation on the Cougars. So after they get a 1st down from a penalty, now they're going to get hurt by a penalty. They're brought back 5 yards.
I couldn't tell exactly what went wrong right there. You're supposed to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. I couldn't tell if they had one less man off, maybe 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Wasn't able to tell from up here in the booth, but it appears that's what it was.
1st down and 15 on their own 36-yard line are the Cougars. Redmond hands it to Brown. Brown hides behind his lineman, number 51. That is Nicholas Sasita for the Cougars. As Brown trying to just help the Cougars chip away at what is now a 2nd down and a 12 situation.
Let's see what the play call is right here. The Cougars have been favored to run the ball on 2nd and long situations. Maybe switching it up right here and going with a pass will help make that 3rd down. If you're not able to get the first, make that 3rd down more manageable.
Redmond 3. 2 receivers on each side of him as the snap is over his head. It's bouncing all the way back, picked up by Palp Alatalik for the score, and CUW capitalizing off the costly Cougars mistake, the missed snap. And CUW is going to get 6 points on the board off the scoop and score from Brevin Palp Alatok.
And right there we see a new center for the Cougars, number 56, Jalen Franklin, who just snapped it right over Redmond's head. We know Redmond isn't as much of a taller quarterback, so Franklin really has to work on getting that ball down, but just goes right over his head, allows the Falcons to score. Now the momentum is on their side, and it's a one-possession ball game.
Redmond 5'9", under center for the Cougars, and that one, it was a quick snap too that went right over his head. Not really much of a chance to even react to it, as CUW and Nick Klein set up for the extra point, trying to pull within 5 here of the Cougars. 21-15 right now as Roman Funk signals for the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. So CUW makes it 21-16. Palp Alatalk able to get behind the Cougars, pick up the missed snap, and bring it home for the score. And CUW right back in business after that defensive touchdown. Meanwhile, in the Cougar Sports Network, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Cougars will try to respond after that lapse as the offense gets back on the field. .11 left to go here in the second quarter as it is 21-16 in favor of the Cougars. About to get the kick off after the scoop and score from Brevin Palp Alatalk, senior out of Las Vegas, Nevada. One of the senior leaders on this very stout CUW off defense, And Parker, we've seen both defenses score a touchdown now.
Defenses getting involved here early and just going back to that last score, just snapped it right over the head by Franklin. And it's mistakes like that that are just costly. And now the Falcons have momentum, 5-point game. This could be a much different outlook as the quarter progresses.
So the kickoff from Klein ends up in the end zone, which will bring the Cougars offense to their 25-yard line to start this drive. And that was Jalen Franklin on the snap who shot it right over Redmond's hand. So we'll have to see if the Cougars come out with any kind of new offensive line alignment. As hard to read the number from up here, but I believe that is still Franklin under center.
I believe it is.
At center, under center, still Redmond. He's got Joron Brown as well as Quentin Grimes in the backfield with him. Brown receives the handoff, tries to get around the edge. Instead, he's all wrapped up by Ben Kraft, number 53.
And what we're seeing right here, the Cougars have gone to a new package offensively, running 21 personnel, which means 2 running backs in the backfield, 1 tight end. That means that they want to focus a bit more on the running attack. So, interesting package right there from the Cougars. We can see a lot more carries right here from Jerron Brown.
Second down and 11 coming up here for the Cougars as Redmond, man in motion in Jones. He receives the handoff. It's a fake. Instead, it is Redmond. He keeps it. That misdirection we see oh so often from Andy Lambert, Chase Hankins, and this offense. And because of it, the Cougars bring this play now to 2nd and 5.
That's something else Redmond brings to the table. He's very good with his ball handling, able to fake out the defense and keep it out the back door. Now 3rd and manageable. Put the Cougars in a good spot offensively.
Redmond, one man in the backfield with him. As he's got 3 to his left, and he finds one of them, and he rolls in for a first down. It is Levi. Jace Levi continuing a very successful start to his CUC career, coming into today 9 receptions, 186 yards, as well as a pair of touchdowns. And then before that play, he was still looking for his first reception. So first one on the day for Levi.
Really nice job of Levi right there, getting that first reception, which you just talked about. and no extra movement right there. Gets the ball in his hands, immediately gets upfield and picks up the first down. That's something that he really brings to the table that really impresses the coaching staff.
Handoff here to Henry Jones, and he's brought down hard by the CUW defense. That was number 20 on the tackle, Zach Ballard, junior all the way from Paramount, California, making the long college trip up to Mequon, Wisconsin.
Really nice tackle right there from Ballard, not allowing Jerron Brown to get many yards on that carry.
So 2nd down and 6 for CUC. Brown sets up right next to Redmond. 2 receivers on the left, 1 on the right, and it's a handoff to Brown. Finds a hole up the middle for a good chunk of change. Brings it the 3rd down and 1 for CUC.
I absolutely expect a run right here. 3rd and maybe about, it looks like about 1. You have your 21 personnel package out on the field. I would not be surprised to see a run right here.
Third down and 1. Joron Brown in the backfield again. He's going to, it's a fake handoff as the pass is instead caught by Levi, and the ball's loose. Jumping on it is CUW's number 8, Justin Cabrera. And it is CUW ball. Jace Levi, the reception for the first down. He got tackled by 3 or 4 white jerseys. And somewhere in that scrum, the ball popped out. And because of it, CUW gets the turnover, and they're going to go back on offense.
So we see a Cougars offense that really started out hot. Now a couple of turnovers in the past 2 drives really changes this ball game. The Cougars it seems like their momentum has been completely halted, and now the Falcons are trying to capitalize off of that.
Snap to Parkey, fakes the handoff, instead throws downfield to Thomas. Thomas spins around a defender for a few extra yards. Asher Thomas, a huge reception, tackled by number 18, Damari Grant.
Really good job of Perkey right there, really using his eyes. He was looking over towards the middle right side of the field. That allows Pierre Summers to get out the back door. That was Thomas. Get out the back door for a nice wheel route and a completion.
Parkey, he's going to hold on to this one himself, takes it up the middle. He surveyed the field at first, instead decides to just rush it. And it'll be a 2nd down for Concordia, Wisconsin. 2nd down and 6.
Now 2nd and manageable for the Falcons, knocking on the door of the red zone. They have a little bit of momentum right here.
Parkey, he's got Summers to his right. He gives it to Summers. Summer bounces off the line just for a yard or so. And so that'll bring up a big 3rd down here. 3rd and 4, for CUW.
So it's 3rd and short. Let's see how this defense responds right here. After a couple of turnovers from the offense, usually at times the defense has been able to bail out the offense in some form of fashion. Let's see what happens.
Parkey looks, and he's going to send this one, and it is over the head of the intended receiver. Trying to get a bead on that jersey number.
Really good man coverage up top by Cameron Mabins, another player that Coach Lambert is really high on. It looked like the Cougars came out in a cover zero look, which means the two safeties were within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Excellent man-to-man coverage from Mabins.
It was Jason Leonard, the intended receiver, over his head and out of bounds as CUW's going to keep the offense for 4th and 4. The first down marker is at the Cougars' red zone as Parkey looks at his options. He's going to send it to the end zone where it's reeled in for the touchdown. Number 80, Kakoa Carmichael, and CUW will take the lead here, 22-21 before the point after. But what a gutsy decision there from Greg Eder and the rest of his staff to go on it 4th and 4 at CUC's 24-yard line. And usually a play like that, you expect a little 5-yard dump, whatever it may be, just to get the first down. Instead, he wanted all the marbles, sent it to the end zone, and his team was rewarded with the touchdown.
This just goes to show the team that wins the turnover margin is going to typically have more success. We see that the Falcons have done that so far, which is why they are leading this ball game right now.
Concordia, Wisconsin going to call a timeout here. It'll be their first of the half. 3:40 left to go in the first half. CUW a 22-21 lead over the Cougars. The extra point coming up in just a second when we get back here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Interested in finding out more about Concordia Chicago? Head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you tuning in today's game.
So CUW, they come out and they're going to go for it here on the extra point, go for the 2-point conversion. Parkey sends Kroll in motion as he rolls out now. Parkey, and he is bounced off the hands of the intended receiver. Not able to reel it in. For the point, the 2-point conversion was Jason Leonard, number 12. And because of that, it's going to stay at a 1-point lead for CUW. But the Cougars, they got some work to do now, trailing for the first time in this game. They've been leading since the second play of the game when Parkey threw that pick six. They took a 7-0 lead. But CUW, and like you said, Parker, it's been the turnovers, first the botch snap, and then the fumble, which led to this touchdown drive. So CUC needs to tighten things up a little bit, but also just offensively, CUW kind of catching on to what CUC's doing, maybe just a little bit. It's hard to tell because of the turnovers, but this is that point in the game where the defense is going to make their adjustments. Now it's time for CUC and the offense to readjust to beat those defensive adjustments.
And I don't think people realize how big of a momentum shift the botch snap was from Franklin. That really has played an impact on how the sequence of events have gone in the second quarter. We see now CUW has the lead, and, you know, they've won the turnover margin so far.
Henson snags the kickoff off of bounds and is able to get a little return out of it. Pushed out right around the 25-yard line. CUC's only 25-yard line, so just as good as a touchback. (22-21) CUW leads here in River Forest. 3:46 left to go in the first half as the Cougars, Parker, the ideal scenario right now is a long CUC drive, eat up a lot of clock, and then end the half with the score, touchdown or field goal, whatever it may be. Touchdown, of course, is preferred, but just something to take that lead back as you head into the halftime locker room.
And just really utilize all 3 minutes and 46 seconds left on the clock. Cougars love these long drives, so really just take advantage of the time that you have.
Redmond, hand off to Henson. Henson now going a long way horizontal, finally picks up something vertically. Gain of 4. As you could see, Greg Eder or at least one of the assistant coaches, I don't think that is Eder, in fact, on the field yelling at his defense. Hard to make out from here what exactly coach that is. But CUW, again, this was the best defense coming into this game in the conference. Just 17 points allowed per game. They've given up 21, 14 of which have come from the Cougars offense, and then the pick 6, which started off this game. But for now, it is 2nd down and 7 as Redmond dancing around the defense. He'll be brought down. Flag is thrown. As the officials bring it together to talk it over.
Looks like this one may be on the Cougars. See officials talking things over on the field.
Holding on the offense, Jalen Franklin gets tagged with it. So that'll move the offense back, makes it 3rd and 10 now.
Really just a tough break for Franklin here in the second quarter, but he doesn't have time to get down. He's junior, one of these veteran leaders on that offensive line. He needs to be able to pick himself back up and lead the charge because the Cougars are still in this game.
Redmond, he's going to roll out to his left, and he'll launch one downfield where it's picked off easily by number 0. That is Evan Lishka. Lishka all by himself on the interception. Not a yellow jersey in sight, as that is Lishka's 3rd interception on the year. He was 7th in the NAC coming in today at 2. So that 3rd one might bump it up a little. But Parker, the turnovers, again, reeling their ugly heads for CUC. And I think on that one, that was just a misthrow from Redmond. There was no Cougar in the vicinity, really. It was Lishka all by himself. And after that turnover, CUW able to get back on offense.
Yeah, just a simple miscommunication right there between Redmond and Levi. And it looked like Coach Lambert and Coach Hankins not happy about that. We're looking for a penalty, but, yeah, turnovers are just really killing this team right now.
The high snap, a fumble, and now an interception as all the flags fly. Someone jumped, all the fingers pointing at each other. Roman Funk under center again for CUW. He's out there right now. As CUW getting both their quarterbacks plenty of looks today as the head official gets ready to make the official call, and it'll be on CUC. Offsides. And that'll bring a 1st down and 5 now for the CUW offense.
Turnovers and penalties will kill a team and kill any momentum that they have, and we've seen that right now.
Handoff to Pierre Summers. Goes vertical in a hole and immediately brought down by number 26, Marvin Rushing, as well as number 2 for the Cougars. That's Brandon Montfort.
Seeing Montfort, really heads-up play by him. He actually came in to CUC as a running back, but coaches really liked what he had to offer as far as his athleticism playing that outside linebacker position. Great play by him.
Roman Funk drops back, and he finds an open man in Harold, who jumps around a tackler. Finally brought down as the play's still going on. TJ Harold. Already a few mentions of his name today. Came in with just 30 yards on the season. Before that pass, he was at 7, so he's able to get in double digits after that reception. 1st down and 10 in the Cougars' side of the field. It's Funk. And he gets pressured. Roman Funk gets chased, and he still finds a receiver in Summers. Great awareness from Roman Funk. Able to stay up just long enough to find Pierre Summers the 3rd at the out-of-bounds line. I think you're trying to figure out the timing of the game clock, and the head official going on the mic. Game clock should be set back 3 seconds, 1:43. As now they get the whistle to resume. Second down and 5 here for CUW. The hand off to Thomas as he's trying to move the pile. He does. Flag thrown at the very end of the play.
Seen a lot of flags thrown here in this quarter for sure.
So referees giving their arms a workout.
Seen the yellow handkerchief on the turf quite a bit.
Foul on the Cougars defense, which means CUW is going to get even more help here as they move up for a first down. Wait on who that flag was thrown on exactly. We'll have that for you in just a second.
And really, we see the Falcons already in the red zone with the penalties that we've seen from the Cougars defense. Now they're going to try to eat away this clock, not give the Cougars much time on offense.
Roman Funk, he throws in the end zone, and it is caught. Number 10, reeling in the touchdown catch, Al Jarias Kelly, the senior out of Fort Myers. And CUW continuing to pile on here, 28-21 now. And Parker, another CUC turnover leading to CUW points on the board. You mentioned it, but that turnover margin is really hurting the Cougars right now as CUW puts up another 6 points. Nick Klein looks to make it 7. As Roman Funk, the holder, signals for the snap. It is up, and it is good. So 29-21 the score now in favor of the Falcons, as CUC, is going to have a minute 29 left to do something here in the first half as they're going to try to cut this deficit down, but we'll have that when we come back on the Cougar Sports Network in just a second.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning into today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC football, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC FB Family. We'll see you on campus soon.
.129 left on the clock here in the second quarter and first half. CUC trailing the Falcons 29-21 after that last touchdown pass to Algeiras Kelly. And Parker, 129 left on the board here. CUC, I mean, you know they got to get something going here before we hit halftime, but other than just, of course, score a touchdown, what's kind of the ideal situation here in the last minute and a half, roughly, of playing the first half, as Henson is brought down on the return?
It's going to be pretty simple. Don't turn the ball over. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Right now, the Falcons are winning the turnover margin. They've caused the Cougars to turn the ball over 3 times. And turning the ball 3 times in the first half, not a recipe for success. And that's really cost the Cougars momentum as they find themselves down by a touchdown and 2-point conversion. Do not put the ball in harm's way. That is going to be the key going forward.
And the Cougars, they do get the second half kickoff, so there is a chance for a big swing here for CUC. They can make something happen in this last minute, 24, and then, again, get something going on the first drive to start the second half. But for now, they got less than a minute 30 to make something happen offensively and head into the halftime break a little better off as Henson scrambling, finally brought down after a short gain. The clock is still running as Henson is down on the ground, which means the trainers are going to have to come out here.
Not sure if something maybe happened after the play, or maybe the way that he fell down while getting tackled.
So the trainers check out Henson, but Parker, let's talk about just the kind of the game plan here for the Cougars. You think a minute 12 left to go on the clock, they got to go to the pass. They got to do this through the air. I mean, unless you have some ridiculously long rush breakout, you're not going to rush downfield in just over a minute. So I think the Cougars are going to be looking for Redmond to really look to those big receivers in Levi or Devin Bledsoe, who's a tall receiver, to get those big gains and move the chains quickly.
And I'm not able to get a read on what Coach Lambert is thinking at this point, because I'm not sure if he wants to be conservative and kind of waste this clock and potentially go into halftime down a touchdown and just be able to regroup in the locker room, or if he is trying to get, like you mentioned, those big body receivers. I don't think you can go necessarily wrong either way, but just want to see how they come out of the break right here.
And again, it is interesting scenario because the Cougars, they get the ball to start the second half. They kicked off to start this game. So they're going to get another possession guaranteed at the start of the second. So they have some leeway here, but again, even if it's just getting into field goal range, kicking the field goal, and then coming back in the second half, the new game plan, make your adjustments, and then go for it then. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Lambert, offensive coordinator Chase Hankins can do here in a minute 12 with the CUC offense. Blake Henson carried off the field, helped off the field, I should say, as Joran Brown in the backfield now for CUC. Cougars, the clock is running, so under a minute now is Redmond. A long throw downfield, and it is caught. Big reception there. Going all the way. Touchdown, Jace Levi. You want to talk about big plays? There's your big play. Cougars score a touchdown.
And boom, right there. We talked about it in the pregame show. Jace Levi, absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. We see right there, he's been the guy that when you need a big play, that's who you go to. But we see a couple flags down on the field, so maybe this one is coming back.
So you see the reception from Levi right over the defender's head. He takes it all the way for the TD, but we're going to have to see what these flags are. There are 2 flags on the field, as the CUC offensive line and a tight end are at midfield on the logo. The skilled players are still out on the sideline.
Looks like this one is coming back, by the way. The body language is on the field from both sides and the on-field officials.
So that is Greg Etter that the head official's talking to, as he's about ready to high up on the mic and give us all clarification. And cheers from the CUC crowd as the touchdown is confirmed. CUC avoids any penalty troubles, and because of it, a 72-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Redmond to Jace Levi. And now the offense, everyone on the sideline pointing up to the sky with 2 fingers. They're going to go for the 2-point conversion here, try to tie this game up. 47 seconds left to go in the half.
So we see they did end up calling the touchdown. Absolutely great drive right there from the Cougars. Right when you need a big play, you turn to your guy in Jace Levi. Get the ball in his hands. Let him take it the distance. Exactly what he did right there. Cougars needing to get the 2-point conversion right here to tie things up. Peter, we have a ball game.
Redmond with Brown. The handoff, and he is in. 2-point conversion is good. CUC ties it up, 29-29. What a turn of events we've had here in Parker. It's not even halftime. We got 30 more minutes of football, and we still have 47 seconds left to go in this first half. But in the first half, 58 combined points.
Don't think we expected to see this or the game play out this way, at least so far in the first half. But we see right there, 2 plays, 77 yards, they only taken 37 seconds off the clock. And for a team in the Cougars who loves those long drives, we don't see them typically score within less than a minute, but we see right there, and just when they need the big play, like I said, turning to Jace Levi.
And what a well-placed ball from Jacob Redmond, too, right over the defender who was trailing Levi and just put it right in the midst for Chase Levi, who did the rest himself with his speed. And the Cougars tied up 29-29.
Put the ball right over the outside shoulder. Excellent ball placement.
So I think now we're seeing the penalty come into effect here, as the kickoff will be all the way on CUC's 10-yard line. So there was a flag on the Cougars, but it takes effect after the touchdown pass, so they catch a break there. And now Ryan Auer from his own 10-yard line, a line drive kick, takes a couple bounces, and it gets away from the intended man, and he is brought down, and a big dog pile of Cougar defenders there bring down number 10, Aljarius Kelly. Almost perfect execution on special teams as CUW is backed up within their own 35-yard line.
Making the play right there, number 17, Vincent Scarnato, who you mentioned, Peter, came in as a defensive back. That's what he's listed as on the roster, converted to receiver. But we see the DB coming out in him, really tracking down the ball and making the tackle on our Jarius Kelly. Great play right there from Scarnato.
So trying to fix the clock here as there are 42.6 seconds remaining in the first half. CUW's got a long way to go if they want to try and take the lead before they head into the halftime break, as there's a completion there to Kroll. Nick Kroll brought down a 14-yard reception for number 1 in white. That's his his second of the day. Nick Kroll, who we talked about in the pregame show, Parker, has been relatively quiet. CUC doing a good job covering him up as the quarterback brought down in the backfield. 66 and 96 in on the tackle for the Cougars, respectively. That is Jordan Boykin as well as Elias Pagan. A big loss there for CUW.
Really much needed defensive stand right there. Getting the momentum back. The sack right there on the double team from Pagan and Boykins. Really electric play right there for them to combine on the sack.
So the two teams talk things over here as CUW using another one of their timeouts. They'll head back to the field, as do the Cougars. CUW right now, 2nd down and 15 on their own 44-yard line. Some defense chants working its way from the bench to the crowd as Perky, he drops back, and it's tipped up, and it is reeled in out of bounds. They're going to say he was in, though.
Thought he might have bobbled it a little too late. Might have stepped out on the sideline, but referees have a little bit of a better angle than we do.
He did bobble it. That was number 80 on the reception, Kekoa Carmichael. He bobbled the initial reception and then reeled it in, but like Parker said, from our point of view, it looked like he was out of bounds by the time he reeled it in. Officials say otherwise, so 3rd down and 9 now for the Falcons. as the defense for the Cougars getting everyone riled up. Perky, he finds a short completion to Thomas. Thomas has a first down and a little more as he's tackled at the legs by number 18 for the Cougars, Damari Grant.
See the Cougars defense right there. Didn't have anybody in the flats. Nice job of Perky dumping it off to Thomas and able to let him do the rest, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock. And the Falcons have a chance to potentially get a field goal to get a couple more yards.
First down and 10. Perky, he gets pressured. He runs up the middle. He decides to keep it himself. He's got a first down and some more, but the Cougars defense seems perfectly content with that, just trying to prevent the touchdown as 7 seconds remain on the board.
Mentioned it looks like they're playing a cover 4 look, just trying to keep the Falcons out of the end zone. They want them to kick the field goal. Not sure if the Cougars have a lot of faith in CUW's kicker and Klein.
And I don't think CUW does either as they're keeping the offense out for what might be the last play of the half. CUC's just got to keep them out of the end zone here. Perky looks for his receivers, has to avoid some tackles. Perky stays on his feet. He's going to take it out of bounds. 1 second remained on the clock when he went out. The clock stopped at .2. So there should be about a second left on the clock, but
I think they might put some time back on.
Either way, 1 second or 0.2 seconds, it's only time for one more play, and that means they bring out the field goal unit. Nick Klein. He's good on his only field goal attempt of the day. It was a 30-yarder. As this one is up, and it is no good. CUC's defense stands tall. Nick Klein misses the last second field goal. And Parker, we are heading to halftime, tied up 29-29. What a game we have here in River Forest.
And what it boils down to is, we mentioned the turnovers, right? The Cougars have struggled with that. 3 turnovers in this ballgame so far. They found a way to overcome it, and that's what good teams need to do. So resulting in the tie we see going into halftime, and I cannot wait to see the second half.
Should be an exciting second half, to say the least. These two teams up 29-20, tied up 29-29. Parker running off to go down to field level because we're going to have the homecoming court march out on the field, as well as some other festivities. The Hall of Fame inductees of this year will be honored as well. So stick around. You'll get to see everyone get their recognition down on the field. And then in 25 minutes, we'll be back here on the Cougar Sports Network as the Cougars and Falcons are going to play a very exciting half of football, at least what it's shaping up to be. They're tied up 29-29 as we head in halftime. We'll be back in just a bit on the Cougar Sports Network.
with alumni who show their everlasting love and support. After 100 years of Concordia Chicago football, the program has seen significant success, highlighted by a run in the NCAA Division III playoffs in 2012 following an undefeated regular season. With 1 century down, Concordia University Chicago looks forward to the next century of Cougar football. And now we would like to recognize this year's Hall of Fame inductees. Chelsea Wilson, class of 2018, earned her bachelor's degree in communications. From 2014 to 2018, Wilson was a successful trailblazer in the track and field program. She set school history as the first athlete to qualify for nationals in 4 consecutive years. During her freshman campaign, between the indoor and outdoor NAC championship meets, she had 4 second place and 2 third place finishes, qualifying for the outdoor national meet in the 200 meters. By her sophomore season, she had 1 third place, 2 second places, and her first career first place finish at the indoor NAC championship in the 200 meter event. During her junior season, Wilson had 5 third place and 2 second place finishes, including the 100 meters, where she qualified for outdoor nationals for the first time. Senior season brought 3 second place and 4 first place finishes for a combined total of 8 third place, 11 second place, and 5 first place finishes in indoor and outdoor NAC championships. By the end of her career in the maroon and gold, Wilson owned 10 school records, 2 of which still stand today. Wilson became an All-American in 2018 after her 6th place finish at Nationals in the 4x400 relay, which led her to become the first NAC Woman of the Year in school history. Chelsea Wilson. Jack Walker earned his bachelor's degree in secondary education in 2009. Walker was a 4-year starter of the Cougar baseball team from 2005 through 2009 and played a pivotal role in their success, including the school's first ever appearance at the NCAA Division III Regionals in 2009. That year, the Cougars participated at the Mid-East Regional in Adrian, Michigan, following a 33-15 season that won both the regular season and tournament title for the Northern Athletics Conference. Walker's success on the field resulted in the creation of an eponymous award that is given to a key player on the Cougar baseball team each year as voted on by team members. By the end of his career in the maroon and gold, Walker owned 5 career program records and 5 single-season records, 2 of which still stand today. After college, Walker went on to become the second player in program history to be drafted into Major League Baseball after being selected as the number 1 pick in the 20th round by the Washington Nationals in 2009. Jack Walker. Alex Panati Masterson earned her bachelor's degree in marketing from Concordia in 2010. Masterson was a 4-year starter of the women's volleyball team during her years as a Cougar. From 2006 till 2010, Masterson appeared in 120 matches with 427 sets played and secured 1,066 total kills. She was a member of the NAC All-Rookie team in 2006 and named First Team All-NAC in her final 3 years. She was one of a select few in Cougar history to surpass the 1,000 mark in kills and also digs with 1,154. Masterson was also a Northern Athletics Conference Scholar Athlete and member of the Concordia Athletic Director's Honor Roll. She was the recipient of the 2010 A.W. Gross Award, presented to a student athlete who demonstrates the highest standards in academic achievement, athletic proficiency, character and conduct, and athletic leadership. Masterson has her name written in the record books in 4 categories, including the all-time record for service aces. Alex Pinotti Masterson. Martin Beckman earned his bachelor's in elementary education in 2013. Beckman was a 4-year starter of the football team during his time as a Cougar. From 2009 to 2013, he totaled 267 total tackles, 19 and a half sacks for a total of 157 yards, and tied a single game record with 4 sacks for a total of 31 yards in losses. Beckman was a member of the Hall of Fame 2012 Cougar football team that had the first undefeated season in program history. He was a 2-time Athlete of the Week for the Cougars and has his name written in multiple top 10 records for the program, both single season and career-wise. Martin Beckman. Jacob Porter earned his bachelor's in business communications in 2014. Porter was a pivotal part of the Cougars athletic department for 4 years as the face behind the beloved mascot Charlie T. Cougar. While acting as Charlie T. Cougar, he represented Concordia athletics at many high-intensity events while leading the student section. During Porter's time as Charlie, he witnessed historical events such as the Concordia Invitational Tournament and the 2012 football season, where the Cougars remained undefeated and made a run into the NCAA Division III playoffs. Porter brought liveliness and spirit to the Cougar fan base throughout his career and was a part of the tremendous success of the Cougar athletic department through his intangible contributions. Jacob Porter. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome this year's homecoming court. We start off with Kate Johnson, a sports management major from Lincoln, Nebraska. Kate is currently on the women's lacrosse team and is the president of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. Parker Kelly is a media and communications major from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Parker is currently a CUC athletics broadcaster and a former member of the football team for 3 years. Alyssa Contopoulos is an elementary ed major from Elmhurst, Illinois. Alyssa is currently on the softball team, an executive board member of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, and the Resident Life Community Coordinator of Concordia Hall. Justin Headley is a math education major from Nottingham, Maryland. Justin is currently on the men's lacrosse team, a math tutor, and a former Wind Symphony student. Allison Kozlowskis is an elementary ed major from Orland Park, Illinois. Allison is currently Resident Life Community Coordinator of Mary Martha Trusheim. Caleb Egland is a graphic design major from Peoria, Illinois. Caleb is currently an art student, welcome weekend leader, and has been in 3 CUC theater productions. Hope Mueller is a middle grade social science and literacy education major from Fenton, Missouri. Hope currently is a Capella student, orchestra student, chapel assistant, and LTE program member. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your homecoming king, Eduardo Hines. Eduardo is a business management major from San Salvador, El Salvador. Eduardo is currently the student government treasurer, esports athlete, welcome weekend leader, and free enterprise student fellow. And Cougar fans, please welcome your homecoming queen, Michelle Medina. Michelle is a biology major from Chicago, Illinois. She is currently the president of Student Government Association, member of Campus Activities Board, member of Latino Student Union, welcome weekend leader, and a student ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our homecoming court.
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
At the quarterback position, Perky, 7 for 10, 98 yards and a pair of touchdowns with an interception, and then Funk, 5 for 7, 53 yards with a touchdown. Rushing, the leader is Pierre Summers, the third, 11 attempts for 63 yards, while the receiving leader is Jace Levi, 2 receptions, 80 yards and a touchdown, capped off with the 72-yard touchdown to end that first half. And Parker, we know what's at stake here for CUC. 0 for 3 on the year, 0-2 in conference, 0-1 in conference play, And not only would the win here even up their conference record, I mean, it would just be a huge conference boost. CUW is one of the best teams in the NAC every year. CUC has lost 4 straight games to them, 8-32 all time. And if you can pull off a win here, homecoming day in front of a huge packed crowd at Concordia Stadium, I mean, that's just going to give you all the confidence in the world as you head into Aurora next week.
And it's as you alluded to, Cougars last year got the big win on Senior Day versus Benedictine, kind of a similar environment here today, and just wondering when the Cougars are going to get that big win. They just got to carry over that momentum they received in the first half, carry it on throughout the remainder of the game, because they have looked good at times, especially capping off the half with that long, deep touchdown pass to Levi. Got to keep your foot on the gas if you're the Cougars.
So CUW, Nick Klein, the kicker, is set for the kickoff, and it's off a line drive right into the hands of the returner for CUC, who runs into a pile of bodies. That returner for Concordia Chicago was number 18, that is Damari Grant, the cornerback. So getting some action on special teams before you have to take the field eventually for defense. But first, the CUC offense coming back out. And Parker, after what we saw in that first half, let's get your take. What worked, what didn't work for the CUC offense, and how are they going to combine those two to hopefully put some points up in the board here second half?
Really, what they were doing on offense was working. We just saw a couple turnovers that they cannot have in the second half. You cannot put the ball in harm's way. But I would say keep doing what you're doing. Just do not turn the ball over.
Turnovers have been huge for the Cougars, as CUW more often than not scoring, as brought down on the backfield during a rushing attempt was Jacob Redmond. He got decked, and he is still on the ground. That was a big hit, as Redmond now sitting down on the ground as the trainers come out to attend to him. But in terms of the team stats, let's go over those while Redmond gets checked out. Passing yards nearly identical, 151 for CUW, being outdueled by the Cougars at 167, while the rushing offense, Cougars have mustered just 55 yards of rushing offense, while CUW, they're at 121. Penalties, though, that has been a big thorn in the Cougars' side. They've had 6 for 60 total yards, while CUW, they're at 2 for 15 yards. And then in terms of turnovers, and this is the real big kicker here for CUC, 3 turnovers on the day, 2 fumbles and an interception. And off those 3 turnovers, CUW has scored 20 points. So 20 of their 29 points have come from a CUC turnover, as Redmond now being helped off the field. He's not applying any pressure to his right leg, which means that we are going to get a new look under center for the Cougars, and it'll be number 4, the freshman, getting his first game action, Colton Bosch out of Coopersville, Michigan. Coopersville High School alumni, and he's going to...
First look we're getting of him today, he's more of a pocket passer type quarterback, but he's going to be asked to run the ball a little bit more. We see in the playoffs his last year of high school, he got asked to run the ball more. He had a good amount of success, definitely capable of doing that. So really interested to see the first look from the freshman.
And it'll be a pass, and he just heaves it downfield, and it is intended for Levi. CUC wanting a flag as Levi was knocked down to the ground before the pass even get to him. No flag there.
Couple of things. It's interesting. As soon as Bosch comes into the game, we have a play action deep downfield pass intended for Levi. Also surprised we didn't see a penalty marker thrown, as it looks like there might have been some pass interference against Levi.
So CUW maybe escapes the play flagless, and it is now 3rd down and 12 for the Cougars. A lengthy way to go here as they try to get the offense moving, and Colton Bosch has to call a timeout as the play clock was just about to hit 0. So CUC already burning one of their second half timeouts, 30 seconds into this second half. And just as the team's going to catch their breath, so will we up here in the booth. We're going to take a quick break and be back here on the Cougar Sports Network in just a second.
Interested in finding out more about Concordia Chicago? Head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you tuning in to today's game.
Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, CUC ready to resume action after having to call a timeout to avoid a delay of game. Colton Bosch, again, the freshman in the game. Parker, I know you have something to say about Bosch and what he brings to the table, or at least what he's going to be able to do here, as it's a short pass. Jace Levi, he's got a long way to go as he stumbles, eventually falls over. Shorter mid-length gain there, I would say, and not enough for a first down, which means the punt unit's going to come out. But, Parker, what exactly do you see in Bosch? What do the Cougars need to see in Bosch? I just know you're wanting to talk about him.
Well, one of the first things the coaches do when you have a freshman quarterback like Bosch is they show you where the play clocks are on either side of the field, just because they want the quarterbacks to be aware of the time. An excellent IQ play by Bosch calling the timeout before the break. He was just able to recognize where the play clock was. Really heads-up play by the freshman.
And the punt returner for CUW staying on his feet maybe a little longer than he should have. Eventually brought down to the ground. And because of it, CUW gets the ball in their favor now as they'll look to go on the attack. And Parker, it'll be interesting to see what the CUW offense does on a settled drive here, right? 20 of their 29 points have come from turnovers. So you take those out, you have 9 points, a field goal, and a touchdown from the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do here. Now, CUC's defense well rested after that first half, but maybe Greg Etter, the head coach of the Falcons, making some halftime adjustments as well.
Yeah, and it looks like they're still rolling with Perky. It will be interesting to see. We see that they really kind of rode out their two-headed monster at running back with Summers and Thomas. Maybe see some more passing potentially from Perky right here, or a balanced play call. We'll have to see how the quarter goes.
Well, it's Pierre Summers with the first handoff of the drive. He's able to stay on his feet, eventually brought down in a mosh pit. Second down.
You mentioned that well-rested defense. They showed that right there, not allowing Summers to break off a large chunk of yardage, really flocking to the football. No, I said that quite a bit today.
Summers, he gets another handoff as he tries to turn the corner. Gets tripped up, however. Nice tackle there as Summers was well on his way to a first down. And it's going to be third down here for the Cougars, 3rd and 4.
So 3rd and short. The Falcons have shown a tendency to run the ball in this type of situation. So if you're the Cougars, have to be prepared for a run right here.
And some people jump. 3 flags fly. I believe it was a yellow jersey who jumped first. We'll have to wait for that confirmation as the Cougars are already backing up.
That looked like it was a false start on that defensive line. That right there, that was a dummy cadence used by the Falcons trying to draw the Cougars offsides. They recognized the down and distance, 3rd and 4, got the Cougars to jump offside. Now the chains are moving.
You see the replay here as, Cougars pretty clearly the perpetrators in that foul. Maybe got a little jumpy on 3rd down, hoping for a quick 3 and out. Instead, Falcons keep the ball. Perky takes it himself, a first down on the first rush.
Right there, read option from Perky. Reading that defensive end, he crashed and went with Thomas. That allowed the lane to open up for Perky to pull the ball. Nice job of using his legs to pick up another Falcons first down.
1st and 10. First down marker is on the CUC side of the field. And it'll be a quick pitch to Aljarius, and he gets knocked as there's a helmet off on the ground. It is a white helmet, but everyone's wearing a white helmet, so that doesn't really help us. It is the helmet of Aljarius Kelly, as now there's a Cougar writhing around on the ground. It is rushing number 26.
That's not a good thing for this Cougars defense. We see rushing coming in as a freshman has made an instant impact, so definitely not a good sign to see him down on the ground. Hopefully he's all right.
So while rushing gets checked out, we're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network. It's going to be 2nd down and 7 for CUW when we come back in just a second.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the football program, visit cucougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game. Go Cougars!
So Martin rushing, helped off the field as Cougars get back to work defensively. Marvin rushing, helped off the field. So 2nd down and 7 for the Falcons. Perky hands it off to Thomas. Thomas sidesteps his way through a hole. That'll be good for a first down. Asher Thomas, he's been getting plenty of work today. That was carry number 9 on the day for him. And that'll move the chains as we are under 12 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
The Falcons just getting so much push on that offensive line, really opening up the lane for Thomas to pick up that latest first down.
Perky, he's going to keep it himself as he rolls out a short completion to Harold. Harold stays on his feet long enough for a first down. And CUW showing no signs of their offense slowing down in this second half.
Just seems like picking up first down after first down, and the Cougars right now don't have anybody covering that flat area that allowed Perky to get the ball out quickly and move the sticks. If you're the Cougars, you got to make some adjustments defensively.
Hand off to Pierre Summers the third, and he's going to get a first down and some more. Pierre Summers keeps breaking tackles. He's within the 10-yard line, and CUW has come out looking explosive here on the ground as this Cougars defense just can't do much to stop them, but flag on the field. It will be holding on the offense That means that big gain from Summers wiped off the board. And Cougars, they catch a bit of a break there, Parker.
Falcons coming right back, absolutely. And it just looks like the Falcons are just gashing this defense right now. Really, it's a breath of fresh air for the Cougars. Allow them to just really get rested, get reset on defense, kind of figure out your adjustments as we see a couple substitutions coming in and out.
Second down and 20 for CUW. Short little outlet to Pierre Summers, and he's going to move. He's going to keep on moving. First down, Pierre Summers, the third.
Another penalty marker thrown on that far sideline, it looks like, down near the 20-yard line.
Might have been a late hit on CUC's part as Summers was knocked out of bounds. But, yeah, Pierre Summers, just a short little dump from Perky, and he's going to take it the distance for a first down, assuming this penalty is not against CUW.
And Perky not having to make a bunch of these downfield passes right now, and I don't even think that pass had even 5 yards of airtime, but what that was great perimeter blocking on the outside, which allowed Summers to pick up that much-needed first down, and a long first down at that.
And now, after the penalty on CUC's defense, CUW sets up on the Cougars 10. Pierre Summers, he keeps it. He's looking for the end zone, stays on his feet. He pushes his way in, and he's over the goal line for a touchdown. Pierre Summers, the third. He scores his first touchdown of the day, number 3 on the year. His second. He's got 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games, and CUW, they got themselves a 6-point lead for now.
The Falcons just playing some smash-mouth football, really running the ball downfield, a little wacky formation right here on the field goal, but just gashing this defense and really exhausting CUC defensively, and just a poor tackling job on Summers. Now the Falcons are back in the driver's seat.
Nick Klein for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. Nick Klein makes it a 7-point game now, 36-29. Your score here in River Forest. Falcons on top of the Cougars. When we come back in just a minute, CUC will receive the kickoff, and they'll have to find a way to respond offensively as they trail the Falcons by a touchdown.
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the field. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button. This helps us continue to have the best live stream possible for some of the great Cougar football moments. Thank you and enjoy the game.
CUW sets up for the kickoff as there is another kicker on the field for CUW wearing number 48, and that is Logan Navis, as his kickoff is snagged by Damari Grant. They will bring it up to around the 35-yard line. Nice return there for the Cougars defensive back.
We saw in the first half the Falcons doing a nice job of kicking the ball away from Grant. They know how dangerous he is in the return game, and we see right there when he's able to get his hands on the ball how much of an impact he can make. Now the Cougars sitting with excellent field position, sitting at the 35.
And this is a good sign if you're a Cougar fan. Jacob Redmond back out on the field for the Maroon and Gold. He left on the last drive due to an injury to what looked like his right knee, and now he's back out for CUC. And like I said, Parker, that's just good news for Cougar fans, but just anyone in general to see him back out there. As those first plays, a handoff to Brown. He'll manage to tough out about 4 yards.
And just seeing Redmond back on the field does a lot for this Cougars team as far as confidence is concerned. And Redmond, he's just a tough kid. We see that he looked like he might have banged up his knee a little bit, but he's a tough, competitive player, and there was not going to be a lot keeping him out of this game.
Snap to Redmond, hand off to Brown, but he gets stood up. He pushes through, however, for 2 yards of gain, and that's going to bring up third down here for CUC as there's another Cougar down on the ground. We're trying to make out his number here.
Can't tell if that's an offensive lineman or...
I believe that is an 8 on the back of his jersey. Can't see what the second number is. Now, Cougars' 2 tight ends primarily used. Brian Lopez has been used. He's number 88, as well as number 80, Quentin Grimes, as he's helped to his feet. It is Grimes, number 80. So he gets helped off the field, trying to apply pressure to his legs as he's hopping around, helped off by the 2 trainers and a student assistant.
Yeah, Grimes primarily used in the run protection. Looks like he might have got clipped by a couple of Falcons, but no, just got to hope he's all right because he's a very pivotal piece in the run game.
So third down here for CUC. They have 4 yards to go until a first down. First down marker at their own 45-yard line. As the CUC bench trying to get their offense going. Joron Brown tackled in the backfield. Sniffing that one out immediately was Jared Otiveros. An excellent play there by number 9 on CUW's defensive line, and because of it, the punt unit's going to have to come out.
Really just straight speed off the edge for on the Veros. Really just able to time up that snap count perfectly and get the stop for the Falcons defensively.
Punt from Ryan Auer, and immediately brought down is the receiver. The punt returner, which is number 2, Glenn Pierce, defensive back for CUW. Actually listed as one of the top 2 defensive backs on the depth chart. So he got a chance at punt return and immediately sniffed out and brought down by the CUC special teamers, and because of it, CUW, they are back on the field offensively, and Michael Perkey, the one out there.
And we'll see how the play calling is divvied up right here. We saw a heavy amount of running on that first possession coming out of halftime. I kind of expect to see the same thing here right now.
Brought down right before the first down marker. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for CUW. 2nd and 1, for CUW.
And something I'd like to see right here is we haven't seen a whole lot of blitzing from the Cougars today. If you blitz, that applies more pressure on the quarterback and the running back. Those gaps are closed, and you got to apply some pressure on the quarterback.
As Perkey, he rolls out now, enough for the first down, and then immediately heads out of bounds just to preserve himself a little bit as a plethora of Cougars were on the prowl for him.
Looks like Brandon Arredondo, number 53 in gold, was the one who was hurrying Perkey, and just as I mentioned it, great job by that front 4, really applying pressure against the offensive line who is pretty big. They average about 300 pounds per lineman. Really nice job of beating the tackles and getting pressure on Perkey.
First down and 10. Perkey hands it off to Thomas. Asher Thomas breaks through the first line, brought down. Gain of 5 roughly. Bringing up 2nd down for CUW Asher Thomas having himself a nice day. We talked about the dual threat at quarterback between Perky and Roman Funk, but that double-headed monster in the backfield, Summers and Thomas, just as efficient. Perky, he finds an open receiver in Kelly, who is tackled out of bounds. First down, CUW.
Once again, the Falcons going to those flats. They've been open all game and really taken advantage. I mentioned this in the first half, but the Falcons, they do not go broke taking a profit. And right there, a perfect example of that.
First down and 10 on the CUC 41-yard line. Perky hands it off to Thomas. Thomas gets stuffed by Marvin Rushing, and that's another good sign on the injury front for the Cougars. Marvin Rushing back out there. So CUC, they saw Redmond go down, and then they saw Rushing go down, and both of them back out there. That's just good to see if you're a CUC fan, just a fan in general, making sure these players stay healthy.
Excellent sign for sure, and Rushing really stepped up, making a big play right there.
Second down and 10 for CUW. Hand off to Summers, uses a couple linemen, and he's brought down on the tackle was number 36 for the Cougars.
Nice job right there of Summers. That is what we call patient running. He didn't see a hole open up at first, really staying behind his lineman. Once he saw that hole open up, he hit it immediately. Was able to pick up a pretty good chunky yardage right there.
Third down and 3 for CUW. Big chance here for the Cougars defense. They hand it off to Summers. He's got a first down, and he's got open space in front of him. Damari Grant, a touchdown-saving tackle. Pierre Summers III had open space, open road to the end zone, and Damari Grant just barely got a piece of him from behind, and that saves a CUW touchdown, but they are in the red zone now. Fresh set of downs.
Summers saw that left side A-gap open like the Red Sea and hit it immediately. Big play right there for the Falcons.
First and 10 on the Cougars 12. Asher Thomas gets the handoff, jumps around some defenders for a gain. Short of a first down, but it is second down now and three or four for the Falcons. As Perky sets up Thomas to his left. Perky claps, gets the snap, hands it off to Thomas, who just battles his way into the end zone. Touchdown Falcons. As the Falcons have come out, scored 14 straight points here in the second half. And if the point after is good, they will take a 43-29 point lead over the Cougars.
We highlighted in that first half how good the Cougars secondary is. That front seven has had their fair share of struggles, given up over 200 rushing yards to the Falcons, and they just don't seem to have an answer for this CUW rushing attack.
Kick is up and good from Nick Klein, meaning that the Falcons do take that 43-29 point lead over the Cougars. But like Parker mentioned, CUW 213 rushing yards so far this game. Compare that to the Cougars' 54. They've actually lost one since the last time we talked about that stat. So CUW, they're getting it done on the ground as they only have 193 passing yards. Don't see that a lot where you have more rushing than passing yards.
And especially not in today's modernized football, but what it boils down to is now the Cougars don't have any momentum on offense like they did in the first. The Falcons have come out of halftime and scored on their first two offensive possessions. The Cougars, and I know that Redmond went down in that first possession, made things a little bit difficult. But if you're the Cougars, you desperately need a score because you're already down by two possessions, and you can't afford to go down any more than that and expect to stay in the ball game.
4:52 left to go here in the third quarter. The Falcons on top of CUC 43-29 as it'll be Navis to kick off. It is a short one, and it takes a bounce past all the Cougars. Damari Grant grabs it. He's got some work to do now. Damari Grant, he finds a couple holes, and he's eventually brought down at the Cougars' own 28-yard line. But, Parker, that was almost a catastrophe for CUC there. That ball took a bad bounce past everyone. Damari Grant able to make the most of it, however.
Yeah, that could have went from bad to worse, but instead when you have a dynamic playmaker like Grant, it went from a bad play to, okay, now the Cougars are past the 25-yard line, which is where they would originally started if it was a fair catch. But really nice job of Grant of turning nothing into something.
Yeah, anytime you can start your drive past that 25-yard line, that's a pretty good starting position for your squad. As handing off the ball was Redmond on the rush was number 31 for the Cougars. That is Sincere Best. A freshman getting some opportunities here.
He's getting some opportunities because if you notice on the sidelines, looks like Booba Henson is not dressed right now. He has his pads off. So we've seen Best a couple times this year. Another downfield physical runner getting some time as he looks to make the most of his carries.
Another rush here from the Cougars, brought down. Little to no gain at all. As CUW's rushing defense really stepping up here in the second half. As Best checks out Joran Brown back in the game for the Cougars. But, Parker, this is where you might want to see some variety from the Cougars offense. They've been rushing it all day long, and CUW seems to have picked up on that and have found a way to stop the rush. So now it's time to go through the air, get some different looks on offense.
And especially in a third down like this, a pass would be, I would say, would be your best bet.
And it will be a pass. Redmond, he finds a man, and then dropping it was Levi. Levi got it right before the first down marker, but dropped it, so it is an irrelevant where he received it. And a quick 3-and-out there for the Cougars offense will bring out the punt unit.
We saw Redmond just really hitting his helmet because he knew he messed up on that one. And it was the right idea, trying to get it to the left shoulder of Levi because he had the defender draped on the right side, just a little too far out of the reach of Levi.
Punt here from Auer. And then waving fair catch was the Falcons returner on it, Glenn Pierce. So with 3:16 left to go here in the third quarter, CUW, they'll get the ball back. And Parker, this is where the Cougars defense has kind of run into problems during the entire, Coach Lambert tenure, is when that offense just cannot put a drive together when it's a quick 3-and-out, a turnover, whatever it may be. This defense sees a ton of action out there on the field week in and week out. And that means by the end of the game, they just start getting tired.
Yeah, and what that boils down to as well, there hasn't been a lot of creativity in the play calling in the second half as compared to the first. That's what's resulted in the 0 on the scoreboard for the Cougars, at least in the second half.
Rush there from Pierre Summers, short of a first down, but nearly all of the work done. Second down and inches.
Falcons just gashing that defensive front of the Cougars with the run game. It's worked out so well for them.
Summers gets the ball again, and he gets a first down. The ball popped out of bounds. He did get the first down, however, before fumbling it.
The sideline is your best friend when you're able to hit the corner like Summers did, and a fumble does happen. Luckily, it went out of bounds, but definitely Summers thanking the sideline right there for not allowing the Falcons to get a turnover.
First down and 10 for CUW. They look to add on to their already lengthy lead at 14 points. And here's a pass. It's broken up. Damari Grant in on defense. And Damari Grant a senior, on this roster out of Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Yeah, Grant just has a lot of experience playing football. He's definitely one of the better players as far as like the DBs and safeties are concerned. Really good play by him.
As there's a ball down, Funk has some trouble grabbing it. He eventually does. So a massive loss there for the Falcons. Should correct myself. Damari Grant is listed as a sophomore. There have been a couple different listings of his class. He is a sophomore according to our roster. And so, but besides that, a big loss of yardage there for CUW. Now Funk's just going to take himself. He's going to try and get some of this yardage back, and he's sidestepping defenders left, right, and center. He gets it back past the original line of scrimmage. Not enough for the first down.
And that was just a lapse in judgment right there from the Cougars defense. And we see the flag down, but 3rd and long, conservative play call by the Falcons.
And the foul is on the Falcons. So they're going to replay that down, and it's going to be an even lengthier 3rd down now. 3rd down and the parking lot for the Falcons.
If you're the Cougars, just want to play some prevent defense. Don't allow the Falcons to get really much of anything right here.
Funk, he's going to take it himself. Just try and pick up some yards. He's doing a good job of that as well. Eventually gets pushed out of bounds. Just a few yards shy of the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we see Roman Funk more utilized in the running game by the Falcons. He's probably the better runner out of the two between himself and his teammate Perky. We see a couple of design quarterback runs designed for Funk. He almost picked up the first down, it looked like.
Punt coming up here for CUW, and Parker, this is just a good sign for the Cougars defense. I mean, you're on the field a lot as there's almost a blocked punt. And so this one is going to take a couple bounces, and CUW settles it within the Cougars. It'll be right around the Cougars' 15. But again, this defense, you've been on the field a lot. You have to come back out and just be able to get a punt out of that drive. Granted, you had the help of a big fumble, but be able to get that punt, and now your offense can hopefully get back to work, maybe get some progress here before we head to the 4th quarter.
Right. It just seems that the Falcons have dominated all day as far as time of possession is concerned, and just those long drives such as the last one we saw will really do a lot in exhausting a defense. You want to keep getting them breaks so that the Falcons aren't able to put any more points on the board, and if you're the offense, you desperately need a score going into the 4th quarter.
Cougars set up at their own 15-yard line. Have a ways to go as Redmond, a short pitch there. And working his way up the sideline was the receiver on it. Is trying to read the number from all the way up here in the press box. Second down and 4 now for the Cougars. The clock at 30. Play clock under 10. Now at 5. CUC able to get it off. Another little pitch there. This one to Henry Jones. He has some progress for a first down. Nice quick throw there from Jacob Redmond, and Henry Jones able to take it the rest of the way for a first down.
First time we've really seen Jones today. He's had a bit of a quiet day, but nice job of Redmond getting the ball out to Jones on a bubble, putting the ball right in front of him, allowing to catch it stride for stride and go upfield.
Henry Jones, after that pass, 3 receptions for 34 yards. But another news that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. So the Cougars, they got 15 minutes to make up 14 points on the board. We'll take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network, and then when we come back to the final quarter of regulation today here in River Forest, it's homecoming, and these fans are hoping to go home seeing a comeback win for the Cougars, see if they can pull it off, and we're back in just a second.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning in to today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC football, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC FB Family. We'll see you soon on campus.
Fourth quarter about to kick off here in River Forest as the Cougars looking to make up a 14-point deficit against the Falcons. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Parker Kelly. Henry Jones, another reception there. He goes nowhere with it.
So we've seen 3 straight bubbles called from the Cougars and getting Jones back-to-back receptions. Now, if you're going to stick with the pass game, probably need to go a bit more downfield. Seems that the Falcons have figured out the bubble game as far as the Cougars have been calling.
Less than 14 and a half minutes to go here as Cougars have a second down and 12. We're going to get a timeout called here. Concordia Chicago calling the timeout. They're down to just 1 left in the half, but Parker, we're going to keep it here during the timeout. I mean, you mentioned the need to go downfield a little bit, especially on this play here, 2nd and 12. But, I mean, what else is the key to unlocking this offense right now? Because, I mean, this offense put points up on the board in the first half, put up 22 points after with only one of those touchdowns coming from a pick 6. But they put up 22 points on the board, held off of it in the third quarter. So what do they need to do to kind of get back in that rhythm? What's the key to unlocking this offense again?
Well, it seems like the Cougars have kind of strayed away from what worked in the first half. We see that I haven't seen Jace Levi get as many receptions in the third quarter, if at all. And we saw that when he gets the ball in his hands, he's electric. So Cougars and even Devin Bledsoe, haven't seen Devin Bledsoe get a target in quite some time. It might be a good time now to get the ball to those guys.
Man in motion in Levi. The Cougars elect to go to the middle of the field. Joran Brown shows he's more than just a running back, makes a moving reception. It's a first down and then some for the Cougars.
And right there, that was just a nice job of opening up the playbook, sending Joran Brown on a seam right down that left side hash. And nice ball placement right there from Redmond to keep the sticks moving for the Cougars.
13:50 left to go in regulation. The Cougars moving on to the CUW half of the field. Jacob Redmond now. He has to go on the run. Dumps it off to Chase Levi. He's able to pick up some yards. That reception was behind the line of scrimmage. Looked like he's going to get brought down. Instead, he picks up a couple.
And for that play design, Levi was designed to kind of be that check down option. No options downfield for Redmond. Just had to dump it off to Levi. And credit to him for being able to get a couple yards, make it second and manageable.
Second down and 7 for CUC. Redmond under center with Joran Brown on his left. 3 receivers to his left as well. He's going to go to one of them in Jace Levi. He catches it right before the first down marker, so he'll be just short.
Nice job of the Cougars trying to get the ball to one of their best playmakers in Levi. 2 straight receptions for him. Trying to keep the sticks moving are the Cougars as it's 3rd and short.
3rd down and 1 for CUC. They get the signs from the sideline. There is 12 seconds left on the play clock as the team starts to take formation now. 2 receivers to Redmond's left, 1 to his right. Hand off to Joran Brown. He's got the 1st down. Joran Brown, and the ball's loose.
I think he was
They're
down.
going to say he was down. Ball popped out at the very last second. It was scooped up by Evan Lishka, who's already got an interception this game. As we see the replay here, Brown busting through the line, and then on the tackle, he gets brought down at around the same time, loses the ball. Referees say his knees were down.
I think everybody in the stadium saw that play call coming. 3rd and short, get the ball to your power back in Jerron Brown and let him pick up the chain or move the chains for you.
Brown gets it again. We'll get a few yards out of this carry. Cougars making some steady progress on this offensive drive. They need 14 points to tie the game. 11:18 left to go on the clock.
This is your prototypical drive right here for the Cougars, really trying to eat as much clock as you can, win the time of possession in this quarter. See, it takes a while for the everything to develop, getting the signals from the sidelines, getting everybody situated, and they like to snap the ball within like the last 5 seconds of the play clock.
Well, we are in the last 5 seconds now. 2 seconds, 1, and that's going to be a timeout called by Coach Lambert. Got it just in time as that play clock was about to read 0, and that'll be the final timeout of the half for the Cougars. And Parker, we've seen this problem before with CUC, which is the game clock management, and I think it was really noticeable, in Coach Lambert's first season as head coach, and even a little bit last year of they just not getting the plays off in time, and Coach Lambert had to burn through his timeouts. And we haven't really seen it. We didn't see it a lot in the Greenville game here a few weeks ago, but we see it here twice in the second half already.
Right, and yeah, that is typical. Like, it takes a while for the play call to get in, but that one right there, that was on Redmond for sure as the play clock was winding down. However, everybody was situated. I don't know what Redmond was waiting on as there were a couple seconds left on the play clock. He could have snapped it, and we see as Lambert was calling the timeout right there, just yelling at the sophomore quarterback. That one was on Jacob. Needs to be a little bit better about getting the play off.
Coach Lambert, high intensity in this game as this team is not too far away from upsetting Concordia, Wisconsin, who coming into today is seen at 3rd in the conference with their 2-0 conference record. And now getting around the corner and picking up some yardage is Henry Jones.
Jones, just such a speedy player, and getting the jet sweep, I believe that was designed for Jones. Redmond, reading that defensive end, saw that he crashed on the quarterback, giving the ball to probably your fastest player on the offense, and let him pick up some yards.
3rd down and 1 for the Cougars. As we approach 10 seconds left on the play clock, the Cougars, they don't have a timeout. They need to get the play off as we are at 5 seconds now. Man in motion. Redmond gives it off to Joran Brown. Brown stood up. I believe he got enough on it. The official says yes, he did. 1st down, CUC.
And this is that type of slow, methodical drive that Coach Lambert wants to see out of his offense, where you're moving the sticks, but also this drive started towards the beginning of the 4th quarter, and they're eating a lot of time off the clock.
First down and 10 at the CUW 20. Cougars in the red zone. as Redmond airs one out into the end zone. A wide open Devin Bledsoe. Cougars score a touchdown, and they cut this lead in half.
Nice job of Redmond finding the open receiver. Granted, he wasn't hard to find. Bledsoe listed at 6'3" on the roster, standing wide open in the back corner of the end zone. Just a miscommunication by the Falcons defensively. And now Redmond, with his third touchdown pass of the day, pulls the Cougars within one touchdown.
Like you said, Parker, Devin Bledsoe, not a hard receiver, is a hard receiver to miss, I meant to say. Staying at 6'3" as the extra point is good. He's a big body receiver, but man, you didn't even have to be 6'3" to reel that one in, as Bledsoe was wide open in the back of the end zone. All Redmond had to do was loft one to him, and because of it, the Cougars, they make this a 43-36 point game. We're going to take a quick break here on the Cougar Sports Network, and we're back in just a second. CUW goes back on the offensive to try and build their lead once again. Ryan Auer gets set for the kickoff for CUC, who has pulled within 7 after the touchdown reception by Devin Bledsoe. Auer moves up. The kick is up. And Nick Kroll on the return gets brought down at the 21-yard line. Scarnado's having a fantastic day special teams-wise. We called him out earlier. A great tackle on a punt, and he gets a good one there.
Yeah, kind of one of the unsung heroes of today's game. And people don't realize how important special teams is, but it's actually very vital. And Scarnado doing an excellent job of making some of these important tackles on special teams.
You can see again, I mentioned it earlier, the cheer team doing as many push-ups as points scored by the Cougars. They might be regretting that decision, as Cougars up to 36. Asher Thomas able to break some tackles as he picks up about half the distance needed for a first down.
I just got to say, this has been a very entertaining ball game, as we see the Cougars only trail by 7 against the second best offense in the Northern Athletic Collegiate Conference. So props to the Cougars and what they're doing on offense and the spark that Redmond has provided.
And here's a throw, and it's over the hands of Jason Williams, as well as Marvin Rushing, who was right behind him. So almost a reception, almost an interception. And instead, it turns into an incompletion.
Right there, just Berkey a little too much on that pass as he overshot the streaking Jason Leonard. Didn't put that ball out in front of him.
Big third down here for the Cougars defense as some bodies jump. CUW looks happy, which means it's likely on the Cougars. Offsides on CUC, so that'll grant CUW a first down. And Parker, that's not the first time we've seen this today, where a big third down coming up for CUC's defense, and they end up giving up the first down because of an offsides.
Yeah, a couple of times that's happened today. Not a good look for the Cougars defensively.
As Pierre Summers on the carry, he got stood up right past the line of scrimmage and then able to stay on his feet to get a couple more yards out of it. It'll be second down and about 6. Line marker right in between the 5 and 6 yard line. It's officially called second and 6 in our stat page. Hand off to Asher Thomas. Thomas, he's going to have the first down and a few yards extra.
We see the Falcons not going with as much tempo as they did in the first half as far as getting the play calling in. We see right there, getting the signal from the sideline took a lot of time off of the play clock, allowed CUC's defense to get set, also allowed the Falcons' offense to get set, allowing Asher Thomas to break off a big chunk of yardage.
So first down for CUW on their own 46. Trying to break onto the Cougars' half of the field. Asher Thomas, another carry here. He barrels his way through some defenders, about half the distance needed.
So we see the Falcons still relying heavily on that run game and trying to move the sticks some more as time winding down in the fourth quarter. This is really when you need that Cougar front seven to step up at this point in the ball game.
Yeah, with how much success the CUW rushing attack has had, they're at 234 total yards of rushing. I mean, they seem like they are perfectly capable of just running this one out clockwise, as another rush there gets stopped short of the first down marker. There's Pierre Summers the third on the carry.
Now we see a big third down coming up. The Cougars like to call this the money down. It's 3rd and 1. We've seen the same scenario play out in the 3rd and short. If you're the Cougars defense, have to watch out for the dummy count, as the Falcons have utilized at a couple of different points in today's ball game. Have to be aware, but also need to get some push on that offensive line.
Yeah, more than one first downs given up by the CUC defense because of penalties, and busting through everyone is Pierre Summers, the third touchdown CUW. A burst of speed from number 27 in white and a wide open hole in the lines, and Pierre Summers, the third, just gave CUW some much needed insurance points.
And we see once again that cover zero look, which means both of the safeties were down. It looked like they were expecting the run to go outside, which left the middle of the field wide open. And once Summers hit that hole, he is off to the races.
6:08 left to go here in the game, in regulation at least. The extra point from Klein is up and good. 50-36 is your score as we take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network. The Cougars, they'll get the ball back, but they got some work to do. They trail CUW by 14 late in today's game.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the football program, head to CUCougars.com. We hope to see you soon in our next game.
Navis will kick it off for CUW as they lead their rival Concordia CU Chicago by 14 late in the stages of today's game. The kickoff bounces into the hands of Damari Grant, wearing the white sleeves as he brings it up just short of the 25-yard line.
And something to note, this is a Cougars team who is, coming into today's game, was the least penalized team in the conference, only 12 penalties all year. So far in today's game, they have 9. It's given Concordia, Wisconsin 80 yards. And that's been one of the killers for the Cougars in today's game, in addition to the 3 turnovers.
Yeah, one of the main constants in the Andy Lambert era is that this team is disciplined. They do not take a lot of penalties, always towards the top of the league in terms of least penalty yards given up a game. And today has been a completely different story in the Falcons between the penalties and then the turnover margin. taking great advantage of that. So Redmond hands it off to Joran Brown, who gets stuffed and now pushed backwards. Might have gained a yard or so, yard or less on the carry.
See, that offensive line just looks gassed at this stage in the game. Didn't get a whole lot of push on that Falcon defensive line, resulting in the very low yardage play, if any yards gained at all.
And you think they got to go through the air at some time here. You need 14 points and 5:30 with a CUW possession likely in there. They go through the air here, and it's reeled in by Henry Jones. Henry Jones. And your 20-yard reception. A few flags fly, however, so this one might be coming back. We'll have to see what the head official has to say.
If this play stands, that was a really nice high IQ play by Jones. I believe he was designed to go on a go route, set that down.
Well, it's an eligible man downfield, which means that it'll be brought back. A huge reception from Henry Jones. And instead, CUC now backed up.
Another costly penalty for the Cougars. You get a big reception right there to Jones, but the illegal man downfield, that is just a killer.
Again, penalties continuing to hurt. Usually a well-disciplined Concordia Chicago squad, as they've got 2nd down and 13. Pass to Joran Brown out on the wing. He gets it to about the original line of scrimmage, as we are officially under 5 minutes away from regulation ending here in River Forest. Cougars, they need 14 points, as it is going to be 3rd down. There is a Falcon on the ground. That is number 99 for CUW. Chase Coots, one of the league leaders in sacks at his mark of 3.5 coming into today, as he gets some help off the field, largely under his own power.
Yeah, Coots, number 4 in the NAC in sacks with 3.5 coming into today's game. Such a foundational piece on that Falcons defensive line. You got to hope he's all right too, or else that's a big loss for Concordia, Wisconsin.
So CUW, their defense is already out there. They are ready to go, while the CUC offense still talking things over with Coach Lambert, Coach Hankins, as well as another assistant or two on this squad on Coach Lambert's staff. Coach Lambert's defensive coordinator. We've mentioned him, Bo Flowers, and then other coaches on the squad. Listed on the squad, Dalton DePatis, Jackson Joyce, and Charlie Clark. As Redmond is picked off in the middle of the field, number 42 for CUW. He returns it for a touchdown. Justice Canetta read that pass like a book and takes it to the house. 56-36 your score. As we see the replay here, Redmond eyeing the field and just in the right time and the right place.
That and the pass was behind the intended receiver. You put that ball out in front, and it's a pretty hefty gain, but Juice, or as his teammates like to call him, wishes that he could have had that one back, put the ball right behind the receiver, which resulted in the pick six.
So assuming the field goal is good, it'll be a 21-point lead, and Parker, that may be the dagger in this game. Of course, CUC still have 4.5 minutes to go, so anything is possible, but CUW looks like they have figured out this CU Chicago squad, as flags do fly on the point after. Referees.
Another penalty on the Cougars.
Offsides on the Cougars defense. The penalty was declined by CUW, however. So the PAT stands 57-36 your score here. 4:31 left to go in regulation. And Parker, we're going to keep it here, but I mean, you're down 21 here, 4.5 minutes to go. What are you really looking to see out of this CUC offense right now, knowing that, the CUC team as a whole, 4.5 minutes, you need 3 touchdowns. It's manageable, but it's a hefty task. So what's an ideal outcome here, at least to see from everyone?
Well, I'm not going to say a comeback is improbable because we've seen crazier things, but really just need a score. You scored 29 points in the first half, only 7 in the second half. Haven't been able to keep up with the Falcons scoring-wise. Really what the Cougars need right here just to go out on a high note is a score.
The kickoff from Navis, and waving fair catch on it was the CUC returner. That is number 16, Emirion Glover. 4.5 minutes to go here in regulation. See what personnel the Cougars roll out there for one of their final drives. Redmond still under center.
And we see that the Cougars have went away from their heavy package in which they brought in 6 offensive linemen. Now they're in a completely empty set. 5 linemen, 3 receivers, plus your tight end and running back.
And Redmond, he's going to keep it himself. He sidesteps through the defense, finds a lane to a first down. And for CUW's defense, Parker, the formula pretty simple, which is just prevent the long ball, right? Don't let any big, long touchdown bombs come out from the CUC offense that can get them back in this game quickly. The Cougars want to chip away with, a couple of big gains at a time through the ground. I think CUW is perfectly willing to let that happen.
Yeah, and I think the Cougars have really just shot themselves in the foot. A couple mistakes here and there proved to be really costly, hence the score.
Henry Jones, he's got himself a decent chunk of yardage there. Another first down for CUC. Clock still running, however, and Parker, we mentioned it. The problem of the delay of games, having to avoid them. CUC doesn't have a timeout left, so
it means it's go time. Don't have time to sit around and wait for the play call. You got to go hurry up. Got to move with some tempo. At this point in the game, it looks like the Cougars are just playing very conservatively, just trying to really move the ball, get some new faces in there. We see Gabe Dace, a receiver, in there for the first time.
Jerron Brown gets that handoff. How about another first down for you? So CUC running the ball well on this drive, but again, as I mentioned, Parker, I think CUW just trying to prevent that big pass downfield.
Yeah, and it looks like the Cougars just want to get some more going on the run game. Looks like that is the point of emphasis right now, not really trying to push the ball downfield, just see what they have in the running game.
Now they're going to go downfield, and it is off the top of the hands of number 10, Gabe Dace. Parker mentioned him checking in. Gabe Dace right off the top of the mids.
Yeah, no, if he pulls that one in, he has a chance at a score. But I want to talk a little bit about Dace coming in as a quarterback, actually. The coaches liked what they had out of him as far as athleticism is concerned. And when you have guys like Redmond and Bosch and Prattley, you still want to get the most out of Dace. So really moving him to receiver, we see the athleticism just able to pull that one in, and that might be a score.
Instead, it's an incompletion, and now a handoff to Jerron Brown. He's hopping around, able to pick up a first down. 12-yard rush, roughly, for Jerron Brown. He moves the chains.
Nice job of Jerron Brown really picking up the slack and doing it himself, getting the first down for the Cougars.
First down and 10 on CUW's 24. Cougars looking to get something on the board before time expires here. Here's a pass out to Henry Jones. Uses the blocker Bledsoe before getting pushed out of bounds.
We see the speed and the acceleration from Jones. As soon as he gets the ball in his hands, he's dangerous. And we see just as soon as he gets it stride for stride, easily one of the fastest players on the field.
So you see receiving the signs from the coaching staff on the sideline. As there is a flag hand to the face on CUW. I mean, CUC will get some extra yardage out of that play.
Nice break, sigh of relief for the Cougars to get the penalty, get the chance to move up. Now knocking on the door of the end zone. If you're the Cougars, have to capitalize.
First and goal, 6-yard line as Redmond lofts one, and being tangled up is Devin Bledsoe. Pretty egregious passer interference on Omari Waldron.
Cougar fans not happy about that one as he got kind of tangled around the neck by the defensive back, and very blatant pass interference call.
Waldron put him in a chokehold. And so the Cougars, they'll move even closer now to the end zone.
Right here, I could definitely see the Cougars just running, trying to get that ball in there through the running game when you're this close to the end zone.
They hand it off to Joran Brown, and he has stood up right before the goal line. Nice goal line defense there from the Falcons.
Looked like he had some daylight, but number 55, Julian Johnson, really coming from that backside, making the tackle, standing up Brown at the 1-yard line.
Cougars just a yard or so away from the end zone. Joran Brown flops his way in. Touchdown, CUC. Cougars get one back here on a late touchdown run by Joran Brown. And now, Parker, the strategy comes into it. I mean, I think you got to assume onside kick here just because of the lack of timeouts from CUC. If CUW gets this ball, they should be able to run it out or at least get pretty darn close to it. 2:01 left on the clock. Minus a little bit. As CUC, they decide to go for two. Rushing was Pratley, Troy Pratley entering the game. And he's just short of the 2-point conversion.
A little trickeration right there. We see Pratley is the holder. Just got him up and almost able to get the 2-point conversion. First time we've seen him today.
But going back to our kickoff discussion. The kickoff will take a couple seconds away, which means we'll be less than 2 minutes away from the end of regulation. And if CUW gets the ball, they should be able to just run it out or, again, get pretty close to it. So I think the onside kick is CUC's only chance at a comeback here right now.
Yeah, if the Falcons get the ball in their hands, they've had no problem running out the clock with their run game this afternoon. I don't see that being a problem for them right now.
Looks like CUW will bring out the all-hands team. Anticipating the onside kick. Only man back to return is Kroll, the lone figure. Cougars, they bring out some skill position players as well. Ball needs to go 10 yards, and then the Cougars can return it. As we have a little break here. Everyone making sure everything's in order. CUC, this likely is the game here. CUW gets the kickoff. That should be it for the game, as the cheer team still cranking out there now 42 push-ups. Be interesting to go back to the math on what their total from the day is.
Looks like the Cougars lining up for an onside kick right here. Don't know they've attempted one of those this year, but interesting to see if they're able to get one for the first time.
Kick, it takes a bounce over the heads of everyone. Does it stay in? And eventually jumping on it was number 15 in white, Gio Nowatarski. Almost looked like it went out of bounds, but I think Nowatarski jumped on it before it did. Either way, it should be CUW ball, and now it just becomes a matter of running out the clock.
That was the first onside attempt by the Cougars this season. It took a good bounce, too, just a little far down the field. If you keep that within the 10 to 15-yard range with that bounce, the Cougars have an excellent opportunity of recovering the onside.
CUW lines up in victory formation, and taking the knee is Perky. As the clock is just now starting. And now the play clock starts as well, so a little trouble on that side of things as 1:40 left to go on the game clock, 28 seconds left to go on the play clock.
And the Falcons just going to keep on kneeing because no timeouts for the Cougars, so it gives them the leeway to be able to take a knee for 3 straight plays.
So they have the downs to do it on second down, the knee, and that'll bring up third down, but this clock will... They should be able to run this one out, so 56 seconds to go on the game clock, 25 left on the play clock. It should just take one more knee from Perky, and CUW will have clinched this game up. As the game clock now under 40 seconds, Perky the snap and the knee, and that'll do it. So CUW comes into River Forest on homecoming and pulls away with the victory, 57-42, a high scoring affair, a total of 99 points combined between the two teams. 99 points combined between the two teams. And CUC, they're going to walk away 0-4 on the year now, 0-2 in conference, while CUW, they improved to 4-1, 2 and 3-0 in conference play. And Parker, despite the loss for CUC, at least offensively, I think this is what you wanted to see out of the Cougars. Now, one of the touchdowns of their 42 points was from the pick six, but all the other points were from the offense. I mean, that is just a great total from an offense that has kind of struggled at points so far this season. Be able to put that many points up on the board.
Right. 387 total yards of offense. Not a bad day's work for the Cougars. And you mentioned that we wanted to see some better offense from the Cougars, and we did today. Now, defensively, that was the issue. You can't give up 57 points in a ballgame and expect to win.
Well, in terms of final statistical leaders, let's go over those before we close out this broadcast. Passing-wise, Jacob Redmond, his first career start, he made the most of it. 15 for 21, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did throw a pair of interceptions, however, kind of the blemish on that record. In terms of rushing, Pierre Summers III, talk about a game from him. 22 attempts, 172 yards for a pair of touchdowns, largely boasted, though, by a 45-yard rush. And then the receiving leader of the day, Jace Levi, who's continuing an impressive start to his career as a Cougar. 5 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. Bulk of that, however, did come on a 72-yard touchdown bomb. But if you're the Cougars, you're just happy to have a receiver like Levi who can really step up and get you those yards you need.
Right, and we talked about, he was one of my players to watch out for the Cougars because you mentioned 5 receptions, 95 yards, and a score along of 72. He's electric with the ball in his hands. The transfer coming in, I know the Cougars are happy to have him, and getting him the ball, you're never going to go wrong doing that.
Well, that'll do it for this broadcast today. want to thank everyone who made this Cougar Sports Network production possible. Chandler Kerr and Wyatt McLaughlin, as well as Dave Dimeling, all on spotter. Kate Johnson working participation on our cameras. We had Jessica Gang, Janie Turnus, and Ashley Schroll. Our producers for the day were Emily Balaban and Sydney Lloyd. Sebastian Miller taking photographs down on field level. We are under direction of our assistant SID, Sydney Ploskis-Laher, and our supreme leader, our sports information director, Kayla McLeod. I'm Peter Borkowski. I was joined by Parker Kelly all day long. One more time, the Cougars, they fall to the Falcons 57-42 here on homecoming day. They will be back in action next Saturday right here at River Forest on the 7th, a 1 p.m. matchup against Aurora University. Parker and I will be back on the call with you for that one. But until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off of the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars!
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.